All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about music education, band culture, and everything. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel. All right, we got. Well, I was gonna say Quan, but he missing. All right, so we got Rick.
Oh hell! Happy Founders Day, bro.
You see, I got my shirt on. I want to represent. All right, we got Mario.
What up, though, everybody? It's good to be back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
No, we can't hear you. Not at all. All right, we got Maya.
Hey, y'all.
And finally, we got the young brother in action. I don't know where he was.
No.
But, Quan is somewhere in the building.
Holding.
Oh,
Yeah, Duck.
Duck Hunt.
Oh hell, young fella.
Yes, sir.
That boy got his good clothes on today.
Yes, sir.
man, he said
Look out, he got 6 bean pies to sell during this show. Come on, bro.
You gonna see him with this and hands. Y'all understand, bro? But you gotta understand.
The situation.
the problem with the government.
Go ahead, Quan.
The fiduciary part of the exclusivity.
That's what they don't be want to tell you. That's what they want to be telling you right now. We can't get that monkey off our back.
Oh man. Okay.
What's up, bro? So I said eat chicken and count that money.
Yeah, right. Bailey, what's up, bro? You over here, this is your big T guy.
Oh, we starting off wrong already.
Just a beat that sneaker. I'm sorry.
Oh man. As you come in, please make sure that you subscribe to the network. Make sure that you subscribe to the network. Go to the YouTube channel, click that subscribe button. We got a lot of stuff coming up, man. I'm having a lot of conversations with a lot of good people, man. We got some great stuff coming up, man. A lot of great stuff. So please make sure you go over to the YouTube page and subscribe to the network. Also turn on notifications. Also, as you come in, make sure that you smash that like button. What happened to Quan?
Smith.
Hey, the nation ain't like us joking. Sorry.
Yeah. They cut him down. They shut him down by the kneecaps.
Yeah, get off of that, brother.
This is the problem with our community.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Anyway, yeah, so please make sure as you come in, you smash that like button, man. Go ahead and click that like button. It don't take long to click that like button. Remember, we want to try to get the likes to match the number of people who are watching us. So please make sure when you come in and get those likes up. All right.
Is that a bow on that dog?
It's her collar.
Oh, I thought that was a bow. I'm about to say, okay, fresh. You got a new dog?
No, she don't have her bows in today, but yeah.
Oh, precious lamb.
I also want to take this time to say congratulations to Quan. He is official. There we go. Boom. There he is.
Yes, sir.
Right there.
Man, you were supposed to put a piece of tape on it to me. We just taped it on there under Maya.
With some scotch. Some duct tape. Elmer's glue.
I guess I'll replace Ken, huh?
Yeah.
I guess.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Where is Ken, everybody?
Playing Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt.
All right. So any updates, man? Anything that happened? Anybody saw any of these battles, any of these performances this past weekend?
Oh, yeah.
All right. What you got?
Man, you want to start with me?
Yeah.
For sure. Hey, man, I watched both battles, the ASU fan battle. I watched it twice, and then I watched the Talladega Jackson battle twice. I watched one half of it with my students today, and then I watched the Norfolk. I can't even call that a battle, but it was 2 songs, so that was just complete utterly trash. But anyway, I'll get to that. My band of the year has been consistently. I've been saying this. I just really like Alabama State. I just like them this year a lot. I like their sound. I feel like they have cleaned up a lot, man. They play with purpose, and I like the way what they were doing against Fam. Man, I have never heard Fam play the way they were playing. I mean, they still a Fam, but they putting some sound out the horn that I didn't used to hear with Fam ever. I don't know if that's the swag they getting their swag hours in, as we call it before, or whatever it is, but it's changing. And I don't know. I mean, to each his own, but I was digging it. I was digging it. So I actually enjoyed the battle between Alabama State and Fam a lot. I really thought that was my battle of the week, even though everybody was really digging the Talladega Jackson thing. So Talladega Jackson. Let me just rewind. I would have to go with Alabama State because I just like the song selections better. And I feel like what they're doing musically, I feel like is great, even though Fam ended with that Elsa's and it sound wonderful. So I was digging that. But I went with Jackson over Talladega just because I felt like not because of the I mean, Talladega's loud as piss. They loud, boy, but I feel like Jackson's arrangements put them over. And that's kind of what's been. We were waiting for Jackson to kind of wake up at some point. I feel like they've been like sleep through the whole band year or something. I don't know what's been going on with them. And I still was kind of low key, not totally happy with their performance against Talladega because I was like, they had opportunities they could have pounced on Talladega with stuff, and I just was like, well, who's making these decisions? I don't know if it's drum majors calling it or the band directors, but I was like, I felt like both bands. Jackson they show up their very best to me for Southern. And when they go against Southern, that's the best Jackson you're going to see in that year. And I don't think that they necessarily had the same respect for Talladega. Southern disrespects Talladega because they know they're just trying to be a copy of them. But I don't think Jackson can afford to sleep like that. They better wake up next time they with Talladega. They need to know that because Talladega is starting to clean it up a little bit. Not a lot of it, but a little bit. Certain things are changing with them. And I think it'll only get better. That's my hope, because they have a lot of potential in that program to do better things. So I was happy to see that and to see the high schools that were there. Shout out to Whitehaven High School. Shout out to Central High School that was there doing their thing, man. As a high school band director, man, it's just really good to see these programs going hard. Whitehaven's been doing it for at least 20, 25 years, man. At least 20, 25 years. People have been talking about the Haven for a minute. So shout out to all my homies down in Tennessee and stuff doing their thing down there and just handling business, man, and putting out quality musicians across the country for a bunch of years, man. So shout out to those people over there. And I had never really heard of Central High School. Maybe I'm just in the dark or something, but I had never heard of them. But they was doing their thing too. So yeah, I mean, I was excited about both of that. So those are the battles that I liked. Hampton and Norfolk, they're field show bands, not stand bands, because the stand stuff was like really lackluster for me. They played 2 songs in the fifth. That's not even the fifth. That's like, I don't know what you call that, fourth quarter junior or some shit. I don't know what you call it, but it wasn't a fifth. So they need to figure out why. I mean, and this is me loving Norfolk, and I was having a conversation with somebody from Norfolk today. And I say, check it out. If you got time to let the drummers play, then the band could have played longer. I just feel like that's just ridiculous. It would have been different if y'all had a battle on Friday, but Norfolk and Hampton ain't seen each other in a minute. So they should have got more time to put it out there, man. And I think those kids really wanted to do that too. So that was unfortunate. And I had kids from my high school on both sides. One that was drum major and one sectionally on the other side. So I was really trying to see that happen a little bit more. But nonetheless, it was what it was. Norfolk sounds better than Hampton, which whatever, that is what it is. But Hampton is more entertaining. So that's that.
All right. Hold up.
I agree.
There we go. Now, Maya, let me ask you a question. Did you watch the Norfolk Hampton battle by any chance?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but if you talking about that clip where a girl jumped over the
Yes, God. I had to bring that up. I was thinking about it all day. I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
I mean, it was different. I don't know. Maybe maybe this is where I start saying maybe I'm getting old because the things that excite the people and the kids now don't really excite me as much. I don't know. For me, it was a bit much. It was definitely. I assume at first I thought it was impromptu, but as each girl, the one they came one after another, I was like, okay, this was a planned idea. But I don't know, it just wasn't well executed, in my opinion. It just looked a little bit sloppy. Like, okay, sure, especially if they hadn't met up in a while, definitely on battle mode, definitely on go. I can understand that piece, but in terms of execution and the overall look of the thing, it just wasn't done well. For a wow factor, definitely, because I definitely wasn't expecting to see that. But the captain, she almost fell trying to get over the brick wall. Number one, I don't know. I just what I have liked to see if I was a director or sponsor, would I have liked to see my group do that? Not necessarily, or not in that fashion, but for the sense of entertainment, I guess, or maybe I'm just past the point where that type of stuff excites me.
I guess you would be called the old lady category then.
Maybe so. Yeah. Maybe this is beyond me, beyond my time now. But I was just kind of like, okay, like, all right, like, let's get back to it. But
yeah, all right. I just wanted to get your opinion on that because I saw that, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna be real. It was trash to me, but hey.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, what did y'all think about it?
I thought it was trash. I'm gonna be honest. I thought it was absolutely trash.
Was it the thought behind it, or was it just the dancing in general?
It was both. I thought I honestly thought that it looked real sloppy for her to for anybody to just randomly just jump out there and it almost looked pretty ghetto. That's the one thing. And then when she got out there, to me, she didn't really do it.
It is Hampton, Virginia.
But everybody don't know what's across the water, bro. So but I will say that when she got out there though, it wasn't anything that she did that was massively impressive in my personal opinion. So those are the two things. And then when just like you, when you realized that it was something that was planned, I was like, oh, this is not sweet at all. This is pretty stupid, actually.
I agree. I would definitely say the third young lady that came out here, her set was the best in terms of technicality and execution. But overall, I don't know, it was just a bit okay. Like, it was a bit of like wop to me. So
yeah.
Just a little insert. I just say it's just A&T Junior. It's just A&T Junior, and that's what it's going to be until it gets more personality to me. Anything that Hampton does looks like it's overdoing it because when you, like you say, you jump out of the stands, you do that, you got to be killing. If you're going to come out the stands and be walking like you going hard like that, you can't come out and do no regular stuff. And regular based on dancers, not regular based on something I can do. So I'm not shitting on it like it's something I can go out there and do. I'm saying based on other dancers and stuff like that. Because it wasn't nothing that could have been done on the other side. It's just y'all going out there. And that's very Battle of the Bands. If you don't know that history between those bands, it gets crazy between the two programs and it's gotten wild over the years. So to me, it's befitting to be, if anything, it's befitting of Hampton and Norfolk over the years. It's been like that.
I don't know. It just gave summer band to me.
Using them college words, befitting. It was befitting to me. All right. Anybody else have anything from this past weekend? All right.
I think Mario pretty much said it all, man. I watched that Southern and Talladega. I watched that Alabama State and Fam. I was a little more interested in that. It's interesting to me, man. I've been seeing some comments about it, and it was like Alabama State Fam was like the boring fest. It's like, it's interesting to me. Anytime a band plays with a quality sound, it's boring to people. Like, it's just I get so frustrated with saying. I just stop reading the comments because all it's gonna do, man, is just make you upset.
Right.
Anything that is of quality is boring to people. But if I'm out there hanging over, playing with a bright tone that is uncharacteristic of the instrument that they're on, oh, that's sweet. But I did see a clip of Texas Southern this weekend, and haven't always been the biggest fan. I haven't always been the biggest fan.
That's true. You haven't.
But Brian Simmons is doing something, bro. The clip I heard was it actually sound okay.
Send it to me because what I heard was terrible. So please send what you heard.
What I heard.
They sound better against PV than I heard them yet last week. So send that to me, please, so I can check it out.
Yeah, I'll send, man. Like, it's not the PV. It's not the Texas Southern that I'm used to from my time at PV. You know, and they call me bougie, whatever. I don't care. It wasn't great back then, but now I think he's moving it. I'm a little afraid, like Mario was saying earlier, that they're turning into Southern 3. We already got Southern 2 with Talladega, and then I don't want them to be Southern. I think the ocean has its own identity. It always has, and I think that I think it's important that we keep that identity in band. So I'm hoping that that's the case. I didn't see that Texas Southern. To be honest, y'all, I was a little disengaged this weekend because I had a lot of great things happening. So in my own career and stuff, man, I'll announce it at the end of the show. But yeah, man, it's a lot of good things happening for me. So I was a little disengaged with hearing all this mess this weekend. So yeah. Let me give you a what you say?
TSU always had their own identity.
In my opinion, because they always, one thing I'll say about them, Maya, just from being an outsider to the SWAC when I first got there in 12 to when I left in 16, after 16, it's like no matter how bad they sound, they thought they were the best band in the whole world. You couldn't tell them that they weren't the greatest thing walking the world. They didn't sound like anybody else. Their arrangements were not like anybody. I thought they had their own lane. I didn't like it, but I thought they had their own lane. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
it's a shitty lane, but you in it.
Right, stepping in dog mess or something, but it's their lane and they walk down it. You know?
I mean, I don't know. It's always giving me Southern wannabe, and I thought that for years. Like, maybe that's just aesthetically, from the drum edges to what are they? The funk train, their drum line. But neither here nor there.
But in my opinion, I mean, in regards to TSU, like I say, my favorite time for TSU would be the 80s. Like that's the best the best Ocean of Soul, period. And there's so much rich history with people from New Orleans, with Texas Southern as well. But I have to say this. I think Texas Southern is going in the right direction. But I must say, like, I don't like their drills like at all. Like this year. It's like, and I know the pressure that I can understand and empathize the pressure that Brian Simmons is going through, leaving from Southern, and honestly, people really feel like he is the next Messiah for Texas Southern. But honestly, it's like when it comes to the drilling part, because he's coming from a historically great drilling band, you would expect that the drills would be better. So it's kind of like, what are you going to sacrifice? Are you going to completely improve in your sound quality, or are you going to completely be, a hard drilling band? And I mean, like I said, we've all said that the sound is getting better, but I don't think from a field show perspective, it's improving from the Prairie View game to now, right, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, but I think that maybe that's a question we talk about later on, man, is do field shows even matter anymore? Because at the end of the day, so many bands don't care about field shows, man. They care about hitting that fifth daddy. They spend all week preparing, 37 songs for the fifth, even though you get to play 5, or 6, or whatever they want to do. So I think that's the direction that a lot of people's bands are going, man. I think that's a very interesting perspective, Quan. So that's interesting, man. I think, we'll see. But let me get my top 5. I'm going to do this every show. Top 5 bands in the country right now. For me, Quan, Mario, y'all, Maya, y'all can jump into Julie. But my top 5 in no particular order, because I don't feel like having to explain why. My top 5 bands right now are Fam. I'm going to always be a Bethune fan. I think Bethune sounds amazing. I'm going Alabama State. I'm going Prairie View. I think Prairie View is really getting back to basics. with the sound of the band, and I'm appreciating it. Just want those tubas and trumpets to get their act together. But I'm gonna say Prairie View, and then if I had to put and Norfolk. That's my top 5 right now. Jackson and Southern fell out of my top 5. I'm sorry. It's been going downhill since that first game. None of us were like thoroughly impressed with that first game, but they were okay. It just is. So that's my top 5. Hey Eric, what's up? Happy Founders Day.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. I know that you want to give your top 5s, and we'll say the top 5s to the end of the show because we got some things to talk about today. So we'll hold off so that everybody can get their top 5s in, because I definitely want to hear what everybody else got to say. So let's go ahead and start it from the top. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about music education, band culture, HBCU band culture, and more. Please make sure that when you come in that you hit that like button. I hit the wrong one. That you smash the like button. We want our likes to match our presentation in here. So if you're in here right now, go ahead and hit the like button. It don't take that long to hit that like button. All right. And make sure that you go over to the YouTube channel and you subscribe to the network. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Some things that I've been working on, man. I've been blessed to have a week off this week. So I've been able to get a lot of work done. So I'm doing a lot of things. And so we want to make sure that you subscribe to the network on YouTube. So that way you can be connected to all the things that we have coming up and all of the things that we're going to be uploading. All right. Let's go ahead and get to our first topic. This is going to kind of go in a specific order, and you'll see this order as we go. So here we go. Here's the first question. Are we really preparing our music education students? Are we really preparing our music education students? Quan, let's start with you.
No. Just plain and simple, no. And throughout the show, we spoke about the things that what we deal with as music educators. Being the counselors, being the fathers, being all of those things. I think we actually try our best, but in my opinion, and for what I've seen, no, we do not. We have infrastructure issues. We spoke about the lack thereof of, introduction of elementary to middle school music, middle school band programs. And once you get them, they're so far behind because you're starting them in the beginning stages and you're striving to give them a quality experience, but a quality what's the word I'm looking for? Music education that honestly they're not prepared to truly take a theory exam, entrance exam for their freshman year in college. They're not prepared for that. And that's why honestly you see a lot of people in remediation music theory once they enter at the college level. I don't think we are at all. And then honestly, it's a different conversation once you get to the collegiate level. Are we really preparing our students once they get there? If you're giving them a chance, are we really honing down on that barrier exam? That's what we call it at Prairie View. Once you hit your sophomore year, are we really, preparing from a whole totality? No, I don't think so at all. Because there's so much that we deal with in between that honestly most music educators just want to teach. But we got to deal with so much in between. You can't just really teach.
All right. Ooh. Mario, are we really preparing our music education students?
I picked up where Quan left off a little bit. He was talking about the preparation for kids when they get to college and what happens after that, and dealing with some of the outside negativity that we have to deal with as educators that makes it very difficult. That's a big point, and that's something that I don't think the schools at least when I was in school. I don't know what they're doing right now, so I can't speak on the last like 10, 12 years of what's been going on. But I will say this, beyond the whole difficulty of dealing with the rough situations of inner city teaching or whatever, pedagogy wise, people are not prepared. People don't know what to choose with songs that are they don't know current composers. They don't know how to do different genres of music. They don't know how to do anything outside of the very narrow framework of a few concert band songs, a couple of method books, and marching band stuff. And when you think about that, to me, that's a shame, because there's a lot of programs that could use the type of personality and character that a lot of us bring to the table at schools that are that look different than us, that we could, that the exchange of cultural information could be so huge. Sometimes you have kids in like that are maybe Hispanic or from different Hispanic countries, or they may be Caucasian or whatever, and they've never even been around a Black authoritative figure in any way. They teachers aren't, nobody, in some schools, like in my school, I'm the only Black male I'm in Newark, New Jersey, bro. And I'm the only Black male that's under 40 that's a full-time teacher. The only one. So, and that's in the inner city, because a lot of Black people are not especially Black male, not Black women definitely, but Black males are not in the classroom as much. So no, in the college level, no. And in the high school level, absolutely not. You guys you've heard me talk about my experiences here in New Jersey, and how, like today I was having band practice and I'm teaching kids, like I'm doing stuff that I thought I would never, ever, ever do, like teaching about rope, like just trying to get something from them, anything from them. Like anybody who knows me knows that is like, I couldn't, man, that was like the bane of my, like any possibility. There's no way in the hell I would do that. But I'm getting kids who will come to me saying they want to learn how to play an instrument. They're in the 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, saying they want to come and learn how to play an instrument. What am I supposed to do with that? I'm going to go through the whole process and teach them all the things. Man, they won't ever learn. Well, so I'm trying to get them something so we can give them some type of artistic experience, because then you got to ask your questions. Is it about me and my feelings, or is it about these kids having somewhat of an artistic experience that may be musically beneficial to them in their whole lives? Because we have our idea of what things should be, and then they have a whole new realm of what that is. So no, I don't think people are being prepared properly on secondary levels. Kids that coming up in most inner city schools across the nation, especially in the North. And then I don't think the schools, when it comes to HBCUs, have been preparing our young men and women to come out and be versatile. So that's my response to that.
All right. Maya, are we really preparing our music education students?
No. And I think you all have done a good job on hitting on it, and we've talked about it in the past, and I'm pretty sure as the episode unfolds, we'll continue to break that down. But no, in terms of curriculum itself, and in terms of current adaptations, ideologies, research, history, all of those different things, just in full to make those persons well-rounded and prepared. No, that's my short version of it.
Well, all right, I got you. All right.
I agree.
There we go. I got you. All right, Rick. Are we really preparing our music education students?
I'm gonna look at it from a different perspective, because Mario and Quan both did an excellent job talking about the secondary level, like middle through high school. I'll give you guys that. The secondary level is just not there. But and I had a conversation with a college student this week, man, and it broke my heart, man. I'm not even gonna sit up here and act like it didn't. Had a chance to talk to this young brother. He goes to an HBCU. Actually, it was a couple of them, like 2 or 3 of the guys I got a chance to talk to. They go to an HBCU. I'm not going to name the HBCU they go to. But just had a very interesting conversation, man, because these young brothers, I wanted to get their perspective of their experience in college. Because Julian and Mario, y'all, we have had extensive conversations about how we weren't prepared to compete when we got out of school. And Mario did touch on it, and I agree on one part is there was a lot of lazy people around us, and I think we could have fallen in that too. You know what I'm saying? Like the times where we weren't given 100% as we should have. But we all gigged, we all did things outside of band that really helped us move our careers to the next level. So I was talking to these young brothers, and one of them was a senior, the other two were underclassmen. So I was like, underclass, yeah. So I was like, what do you guys, how do you feel about your experience? Like, what are you guys learning? And he was like, one of the young brothers, man, this is a true story, was like, man, I haven't had a lesson all year. I am a college student paying for a college credit, paying to be in a class, and I haven't had a teacher all year. And not only had they not had a teacher all year, they are actually like registered for this course. Like they're paying the school to be in this course. And then also they had like a lesson at the beginning of the year, and then from there was none. And so I'm sitting there like, so how are y'all getting better? He's like, we're not. The key to a well-rounded music program at a university level depends on your private lesson studio. If you have a garbage private lesson studio, your band will not get better. You just can't. Your students don't learn how to play with good timbre and rehearsal. Rehearsal is for rehearsal. And I think that's a concept that's foreign at some HBCUs.
Rehearsal is to rehear what you practice.
Exactly.
Right.
Take your practicing and organize it.
Right. So it was like, that was the first heartbreaking thing. So I was like, you know what, man, let me do my part as a big brother to these guys. I was like, fellas, I just want to ask y'all a couple of questions just to see, what you know, man. Like the questions I'll ask you are like, secondary, level things. So I was like, let's just talk about score order, So we went down. I was like, what key is the flute in? They were able to say C. I was like, cool. All right. So we skipped oboe, went down to and bassoon went down to clarinet. And I was like, just name the clarinets from top to bottom. And these are second, third, fourth year music majors could not do that. That simple, bro. Just looking at the score and knowing what's on the left-hand side of the page, could not do it. I had no idea who Percy Granger was. No idea whatsoever. I just asked a simple question. Who's Percy Granger? I don't know. Some dude. That dude that had something to do with wind ensemble. I was like, you talking about Frederick Fennell? Like that. This is how this conversation was going. So I say all that, y'all, to say that's a school thing. That's not a student thing. If your university is okay with that and having music majors that graduate with that knowledge level and that and you are giving them that type of education, then these students need to take more ownership of their education. If you ain't getting what you need to go snitch. You need to tell on everybody. Go to your student council, go to your student government, all that. Hey, I'm not learning. Because at the end of the day, all that's going to do is make you a crappy band director. You're going to go and you probably get a middle or high school somewhere, and they're going to be terrible, and they're not going to be prepared, like Quan and Mario was saying. These people have come from crappy band directors who came from these crappy schools. And then you'll get situations like everybody on the call, man, where it's like you want to do better for a program, but it's so ingrained you can't improve. You have a crappy middle school, or you don't have a feeder program at all, like what Julian was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And you got to try to put a band together with that. Like it's a each level issue. But I think it starts at the college level, and I think it trickles down to everything else. And I think HBCUs are particularly guilty of doing, having this environment at their schools. Because I can tell you right now, at UConn, if I go to school and I don't teach, I won't be at UConn for very long. And trust me, my students will tell. So Yeah.
But that's the dangerous, like that's the cycle of what we, you know, are saying and what we honestly speak weekly to come together for. That's the unfortunate cycle, because if the HBCU or the collegiate level, let me not say all HBCUs, but if the collegiate level is the manufacturer and they're pushing out this product, then and you go back to these elementary and middle, it's just repeating the same cycle. So these kids honestly think, and it's unfortunately, these kids think that what they're learning is what they're supposed to learn until you are placed into a situation where you be like, damn, like one of the worst feelings in the world is to be placed in a situation and you be like, damn, I really don't know this. Now, either two things gonna happen. Either you're gonna man or woman up, or you're gonna be like, well, I'm gonna do what's the bare minimum, or I'm gonna do what I know. Well, you really don't know nothing.
But the issue with that though, Quan, is that the universe usually works itself out, bro. Like, this is no disrespect to anybody that graduated from these institutions. When was the last time you had a band director that said, man, I graduated from Johnson C. Smith? Well, I graduated and I know the band director at Johnson C. Smith, and he is a hell of a musician. You know, like Robin and I went to school together. He is a hell of a musician. So I think it has a way of you know, it's parts of that is that's a small school. Or what about Mississippi Valley? Man, I went to Mississippi Valley and I'm a band director. You don't hear that. Usually you hear I went to Prairie View, or I went to Southern, or I went to FAMU. Majority of FAMU. Majority of the great African-American band directors that I know went, or leaders in music went to FAMU or Southern back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So I think culture is a big part of that. And I think the problem is, Quan, you know, with this show, we always like to try.
Now Norfolk, sir.
Oh, I Norfolk, right. With us, right. You know what I'm saying? But like, I think the solution, Quan, because that's what we do with this show. We try to find solutions. We ain't out here to just talk trash like some of these other garbage shows that's out here. But the only solution, Quan, in my opinion, is a turnover in these programs of the top director and fulfilling that position with somebody with some common sense.
And I'm sorry. But you also have to have something in you. Like I was, and I'm saying this from personal experience. As a percussionist, that's why I remember when we first met in person at TMEA, and I was like, yeah, bro, I'm a percussionist. You was like, for real? I thought you played baritone. And I was like, because I'm always asking questions about wind instruments, because that's my weakest, at that time, that was my weakest point. So you also have, as a director, once you place in those situations, you have to have some type of fortitude to be like, you know what, even though my experience was like this, I refuse to you know, repeat this generational curse of bad teaching to the next level. And you have to have a sense of humility. I don't care what school you go to, you know, you have to have a sense of humility to be like, bro, I don't know all this, but you know, I know Rick, he plays trumpet. I know Julian, they play brass. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a dance question, I'm gonna call Maya. I'm not about to. You gotta use your network. But a lot of people are so arrogant to where they're just gonna keep going with the status quo instead of asking.
But you've already answered the question too, bro. It's called being a lifelong learner. How many people are actually researching what's going on in the field of music on a regular basis to try to make themselves better? That ain't happening at these schools. Mario touched on it last show. One of the worst things that I see, man, is these middle school marching bands. Kids can't even form a damn armature, and they out there blowing as loud as they can, out of tune, with no instruction. That is a director who has settled. I'm okay being at Podunk High School, making, you know, whatever amount of money a year, and in most cases it's good money, because let's be real, these public schools pay better than these universities. All right, because when I was at Prairie View, one of the biggest frustrations I had of knowing that my job was to educate these students, and they would go out and as beginning year students, they would make more money than I did. You know what I'm saying? So that's a part of it too. And that's probably part of the frustration too, is that we're overworked for low pay. These HBCUs aren't paying nothing unless you're a director of bands. The administration making buku bucks, and all they do is make your life harder. So I think there's a lot of facets of it, but I think the biggest part of, to answer the question, Julian, what you asked, is that it's two part. It's, we have to be able to support these universities in a way where these teachers have to continue to stay, focused on getting better. That's why, being a tenured professor is important. You have to do research. You have to be doing things to make yourself better. But I think on the other hand, you have to have a visionary, like we said last time. You have to have a visionary in place that is a great musician and wants better musicians in his band. And if you don't have that, your band's gonna suck.
All right. And that's Smiths. I muted myself in the middle of me talking. Anyway,
quick game of duck hunt. You had to get a quick game in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. but no, man, it's some really good responses, man. So what we're gonna do is we just gonna keep it moving, because this next one goes right into what we just talked about. So if you just came in, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about music education, band culture, HBCU band culture, and more. Please make sure that you subscribe to the network. You go ahead and go over to the YouTube page and subscribe to the network. We got a lot of stuff coming in or coming out, and so we want to make sure that you are always involved. And then as you come in, please make sure you smash that like button. We got a couple of people watching on YouTube, and we got a couple of people watching on Facebook. So let's just make sure that when you come in, you go ahead and hit that like button. It doesn't take long to hit that like button. Let's get these likes up, and let's continue to show that you are in heavy, heavy support. All right, so here we go. Here is the next question that goes directly into what we were just talking about. When will we accept that students aren't the same? When will we accept that students aren't the same? Saw some people looking at that real quick.
In what context?
I knew that was coming. So let me go ahead and just kind of break it down for you. So when I thought about this question, when I thought about the first question, because I knew, well, first of all, we spend a lot of time and we talk about the educator, right? And rightfully so, but I think that there are a lot of things that we miss because we never actually put a lot of the onus on the student, especially at the secondary level, right? Students are different. We try to hold a lot of our ideals to old ideals that we ourselves were brought into, right? But the way that we approach students now can be slightly different because they are different. But what happens is a lot of times we always say, well, the educator needs to change. And we never talk about, we never generally have the conversation about the student and how, yes, students in the past, they all had their hangups, but kids now are different. So that's the question. When will we accept that students aren't the same?
I'll jump in. Education is not about having people do stuff the way you want them to do it. That's not what education is about. Education is about providing information, meeting people where they are, and finding the avenue that works best for the environment that you teach. Some groups will learn and some groups will not. That choice will be up to groups, up to those specific students. And that happens in waves. So teaching in public school, I'll have 4 years where I'll have great, in participation. Kids are, highly involved. And then I'll have another 4 years where it's not that. And so the reality is that you come in, I think this is with relationships with people, anything. We come into things with expectations. And when you come into something with an expectation, you have this ideal that somebody's supposed to meet your expectation. And you're asking a child that is growing up in a world that we don't even like. The world itself is a mess on a lot of levels. The superficiality of things, the vanity of things, the inability to have regular conversations, and not just kids, adults. So if our adults are doing this and our adults are raising them, and I don't look at this as necessarily as a kid problem. I look at this as a people problem, and I look at this as a parenting concern when it comes to I know some of the things you're mentioning is like the stick to itness, right? Kids not sticking to something, and they find an area where they struggle with something, the ability to persevere through that struggle. Well, that's what was encouraged when we were in school, to persevere through things and fight through something. And in this generation, they say, I literally have had students tell me they don't want to do band because they would rather do something that was easier for them. And so my mind was like, that's, I automatically go to my old school thinking. That's weak. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, for them, it's like, that's just not smart what you did. You were working real hard to do something that wasn't for you. In my mind, I'll say, well, how do you know it's not for you if you don't put the time into it? You got to put the time into it to find out if something's for you or not. So there is a this dynamic of the old school. Sorry, that's my daughter in the back. This old school mindset of wanting to kind of have people have these children meet us in a place that's kind of comfortable and convenient for us to teach them. And most times they're not. And it's only going to get more difficult because of that wide gap. The same way we're asking kids to change, that's the same issue that we're having at the director of bands level for some of these schools that we're talking about. The same concerns that you're having on the upper education, saying that, okay, a director of band is allowing this to happen, and it's because they want you to learn the way they learned. And because we're not learning the way they learn, they have a hard time teaching it. They have a hard time adjusting because they want to teach you the same pieces they played. They want to teach you the same methods that they did. They want to give you what they got and not evolve the process. And the evolution of the process needs to happen with middle school directors, elementary directors, high school directors. We need to be on the place of how do we find out how to cater to the new student with incorporating some of the old school things that may be good for us, but also meeting them where they are and trying to bring up the level so that these college programs can be more successful. Because ultimately, if we don't, we lose our craft. You either adapt or get moved past. It's not an option. That's how everything is. So that's kind of my 2 cents on accepting the students thing. I mean, it's tough for me because I've had this conversation with you, Julian, personally. It's frustrating, bro. I have had some majorly difficult moments where I'm just like, I'm doing everything I think I can do to try to encourage students to participate, to do this and the other. But the reality is, the hard question is, have you made it fun for them? Like, really, have you made it fun for them? They don't want to do stuff they don't feel like it's fun. And when fun is accessible to their fingertips, that's hard to say, don't be like this, don't care about this. That's just the world we're in. And you either adapt to it or get left behind. And so we have to find a happy median. And I don't think we have it yet.
All right. Maya, when will we accept that students aren't the same?
Okay. I think that we have accepted it. I just think that those persons who are in place more times than not have not adapted to that calling, have not adapted to what's going on. Just like you said, we have to be able to meet people where they are. We have to be able to meet students where they are. There's a lot more of them than there are of us. And as Mario said, it will continue to bottom out. It simply is that. If you can go outside of your door, if you can order something today and have it the same thing on your doorstep at the end of the day, those companies, those age-old companies, had to adapt to what's trending today. You can buy a car from your living room. You could never be able to do that, right? But they have to keep up with the time. So I think that same thing goes with, just like we were saying earlier, being a lifelong learner. The moment that I am unable to be versatile, to be able to adapt to the new environment, to be able to understand the audience in which I'm performing or treating, is the day that I need to hang up my career, because there's no more of a two-way benefit. And if I cannot be able to establish a relationship or be able to get you on board with what I'm doing by connecting with you, we're just both wasting our time, because everything is going to go in one ear and out the other, one ear and out the other. So until I'm able to say, okay, well, if technology is what speaks to you, I have to figure out how to make that connection through technology, or make it through whatever the case may be. And then once I have your attention, then let's pull in some of those historical ways of learning. Let's pull in some of that fury and that fire. Let's pull in some of, and start to press those things that we were brought up on once we have their attention. But again, I think that we are cognizant of it, but just like So I'll give an example. I'd rather have a dancer with a good heart and bad feet than somebody who has no willingness and good feet. You know what I'm saying? So I can change that. I can manipulate the situation. I can help you learn, but you have to be able to want to as well. And the only want is by that appeal, that rapport, that relationship building. So in so many words, that's how I feel about it.
All right, Rick. When will we accept that students aren't the same?
I will never accept that. And I won't accept it because the world is not the same. We all evolve. If you and I and everybody on this call, Maya might have done this because she a baby, but if we would have had cell phones in 1997 and 98, we would have been looking at booty talk on the phone. We'd have been looking at everything else while we in school, while the teacher up there teaching. Like we would have been
non-stop duck hunting.
Right. I hate when teachers get so holier than thou. We are so much better than these young people. No, you are not. You were a horn dog when you were a teenager, just like these little boys trying to sniff everything out here. I remember, man, when I taught middle school, man, I'm like, they thought I was the oldest person in the world, and I was in my 20s when I taught middle school. Mr. Brown, you old, man. You just don't understand. I was your age less than 10 years ago. The world ain't changed that much, young fella. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's a combination of these kids don't really understand that we used to be kids at one time, and also as adults, especially when we get that piece of paper that has our name on it saying we're the master of something or the bachelor of something, then it gives people instantly this big head, like, I was so much better than these people that I'm teaching. You were not. You practiced just as little as they did. You had the same life experiences that they did. The only difference is you're older and you were able to figure it out as you got older. So that's the first part of that question.
I'm going to say I practiced a lot more than these kids do. But go ahead. That's the only thing I'm going to disagree with. I practiced a lot.
I practiced a lot too, but I know some kids now that practice like that, man. I think it's easy to look at certain situations and assume that that's everybody. It's not everybody. There are a lot of great musicians out here. There are just a lot of bad circumstances as well, where you have a student, man, I'm sorry. I can't be mad at a student that's hungry, hasn't eaten in 3 days, to come in and say, I don't care about learning about Beethoven. You know what I'm saying? Why aren't we teaching these kids? Why are they
even learning about Beethoven, first of all?
I mean, I think it's important to learn about who Beethoven was, but I don't think that should be the basis of our music education as it is. Most of our students, and I say this all the time in faculty meetings, even now, most of the students that go to any college, not just HBCUs, any college, are not going to be orchestral players. They're going to be playing in church bands. They're going to be playing in jazz band, R&B groups, folk ensembles, anything else other than sitting in the orchestra with a tuxedo on, being this type of person. Trumpet player that plays 3 measures in a whole piece of music. Most of our players are not going to be that. So I think that the music curriculum at every university should be reflective of what these students want to do when they get out of college. Here we go talking about every level again, man. Like, I think
do you feel that same way about the secondary level as well?
Yes, I do, because ultimately I knew I wanted to play trumpet by like my 10th grade year for a living. I was like, I always tell this in my bio, man. I was good at 2 things. I was a wrestler in high school. I was good at that. And I was a music, I was really in the band. And I was like, shoot, I don't want to be in the WWE. I ain't going to be sexual chocolate too. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? Sexual chocolate Rick Brown. I ain't doing that. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out how to make this trumpet.
You'd have been chocolate rain.
Right. Right. Chocolate rain.
Chocolate rain.
So yeah, man, it's like, I made the decision, and from there, I made all district, I made all state, I made Virginia honor band, and I was in government school because I knew that was the way to get there. So y'all already know, Julian get mad at me all the time. I will never sit up there and blame something on the student. I think Maya hit it right on the head. But here's the last part, and this is going to be shocking, y'all. This ain't going to sound like me, but I really do feel this way. We need to stop babying our kids as teachers. Maya, you went to the best high school in the country. At least at the time you were there, it was the best high school in the whole country. But USA News ranked your high school the best high school in the whole country. I guarantee you, when you went to calculus or physics or whatever classes you took, all those AP classes you took, the professor wasn't up there with his hat turned backwards, rapping like fucking Biggie Smalls in class,
trying to get you to get interested.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's what we do to our kids all the time. We got to baby our kids. Oh yeah, boy, I got to rap like Lil Nas X. Here we go. Let me coon up here. And then the next thing you know, our students think that that's the only way to learn. Hey, I'm sorry, young people. Life is hard. College is hard. You know, like it should be demanding, because you're, by going to these institutions and saying, I want to be a music educator, it is assumed that if you went to college and graduated, that the degree was rigorous enough that you can do the job. But it's like Julius said, ties into the last question. If you went to a shitty school, you know, sorry, if I'm a great musician, I'm not going to certain schools. I ain't gonna bash nobody's school tonight. You know,
I know what's going on.
Hey, I ain't gonna do it, but I think we need to, as Black people, understand that that's not the only way to teach our students. All right,
very true.
Yeah, I'm not about to get up there. I'm not doing that. I know, Miss Sanders, they want to be entertained, not taught. Let me tell you about that lady that just commented. Miss Sanders was not about to be up there in jazz band if we came in there sounding like some mess, saying, well, it's all right, y'all. And she get up there and hit a Queen Latifah rap. You will not why you can do it. You cannot why you can do it. She was not about to do that. Miss Sanders would look you right in your eye, tell you a few choice words, and I guarantee you wouldn't have showed up to jazz band the next rehearsal sounding like that. Why? Because that woman has standards. And if you don't meet those standards, you will hear about it. And to this day, she's one of the best teachers I've ever had in my life. She's a hell of a musician, and I love that lady. So all I say is this: stop treating our kids the same way that we don't treat other schools. I have yet to see a school in the suburbs saying I need to use hip hop to reach my students. No, you don't. You need to use quality instruction and setting standards that your students either live up to or like. Mario, you said it best, bro. You either live up to it or you're not. Oh, you don't. Some students, y'all, are not meant to go to college. Some of these students that's sitting next to you in your wind ensemble shouldn't be there.
Right.
Sorry. You know, they just shouldn't. They don't have the talent.
Right.
But as HBCU graduates and people that love HBCUs, we always want to see Black people go to college, and that's great. But it ain't for everybody. We got to have plumbers. We got to have electricians. We got to have all these other fields that people look down on now, but they actually make more money than we do.
Yeah, they make more money than some of the teachers.
You know what I'm saying? So I think this is a huge conversation, but I think that it's multifaceted. I think we need to stop babying our students. But on the other hand, no, these kids are no different than we are. I'm sure Miss Sanders got on here. She said that we were all the same way when we were in school.
Right.
Right. So,
right.
Yeah, bro. I'm never going to say that these students aren't the same. These students have more access to these things than we do and other technological advances, but that's the whole world. So, yeah.
So I think, I guess I'm last, Julian. I got you.
Yeah, I got you again, but you got it.
No, so it's like I had wrote a thought down, and you tapped on it, Rick. My question was: are kids different, or are our standards different? Yeah. Now I must say this though, due to the big push for social and emotional in school systems, honestly, that's why the culture has changed in regards of baby fighting.
I disagree, Quan, but go ahead, bro. I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. So no. Go ahead, Chief. What you about to say?
No. I'm gonna ask some. I'm gonna let you finish your comment. Though.
Yeah. So I mean, so from my perspective, and what many of the things that we're taught, it's kind of like you always trying to dig deep to what's the source of the problem and why are you acting and why are you behaving like this? Like honestly, to alter behavior and to make sure that bad behavior doesn't take place in your class, you have to deal with all of that stuff before you even could just teach a quarter note. So that's one point. So I mean, I agree that kids, in my opinion, kids are smarter and they know how to play the game, in my opinion, from what I've seen. And so since I got my bow tie on, I got to say this: by any means necessary. My question is, but also for your kids, do they feel ownership of that band program, or they feel like you're the dictator? Like, no lie, when I first started teaching band, I was like, hey, even though you might have been in middle school and we're doing concert stuff, I need y'all to lock up. Like those terms, lock up, keep still, do this. Like, and then I realized I wasn't getting anywhere. But when I started giving them ownership and then talking to them like human beings and setting the standard, the kids will fuss at each other and be like, hey, lock up, bro. Like, stop. They had this mindset of, okay, this is the time to play and this is not time to be serious. So they have to feel a sense of ownership. When it comes to those certain standards, I used to tell them like, hey, what songs would y'all like to play? Okay, these are the songs y'all want to play. Before we play them songs, or if we play that one song, I need y'all to play these 3 standards. And so they would be working towards something the entire time, but they felt like, hey, this is our band. To where, honestly, we made it a family to where kids will walk in the band hall and they'll be like, hey, they would check that person at the door before I even had to. I think kids, they are the same, but honestly, the approach has to be different. That's my opinion. And last thing, Mario, you said something about we want these kids to be in the same manner that we were, so that we can basically teach in a comfortable manner. I think that was a valid point, because sometimes we do want that kid to sit down and be quiet and clap this quarter note like I did and make it, but he may be suffering from ADHD. So I got to approach him completely different than another student or even, myself. But I do agree with you, Rick. We were hornballs and we were tripping in class. And I come up in that time frame where we had the first Nextels and we was doing stupidness. So I agree. But my thing is, at the end of the day, we still have to set that standard. But to a degree, our approach has to be tweaked pending that culture or that situation that we're in.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to add one thing to you, Quan. If I agree with a lot what you just said too, because we're coming from like the public school realm. Teaching kids in the schools, you get to see it from a different level. So the college directors, they're getting the after results of the things that we deal with on our level. Something that I saw Ms. Sanders post in the chat right there was about the kids. I had never, ever seen a kid suffer from an anxiety attack. I had never seen that in person until I started teaching in Newark. I had never seen kids have like they need a mental health day. Like I used to, in my mind, and this is something that we talked about the other last show about. There's a difference between accepting difference on the outside and accepting difference on the inside. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about the dancer and the male dancer thing, and like being, you can say something, but there's a difference between like truly in your heart and your mind saying this person's different and I want to try to understand where they're coming from. I just had a really hard time and I still struggle with it. I won't lie because I'm just like, you talk like these kids talk like cash shit too, though. They also talk like cash shit and then be soft as marshmallows when it comes to dealing with adversity. Any little piece of pushback is like a breakdown. And I'm like, I'm having a hard time I'm like trying to find a way to balance it better. But this was my last comment, actually. What are the biggest differences? The biggest difference, we talked about cell phones, technology. The bigger difference, and I think that makes even more of a difference in everything we're saying, is continuity of music education. How many programs where you don't even have music after? I have kids that are in 9th grade and they had music last time in kindergarten or in 4th grade or something like that. They haven't had it in 5 years. That's not, when I grew up, music was every single year, every year. And most of the people I went to college with, they had music every single year. Now, a lot of these kids don't have it. They don't have the opportunities to even train like that. So sometimes things have to become ingrained in them for them, like Maya was talking about, for them to want to do something. I can't make somebody want to do something. But if they have a culture of it that they've been raised in, it becomes part of their natural tendency to go towards working through the adversity to get to a goal because they care about the goal. And like Quan said, they take ownership of what that is because they feel a part of their school program because it's something that they care about and they're connected to. So that's the reason why the continuity of education becomes just as imperative as anything else we just mentioned, because you need to keep a kid that starts on a clarinet in 3rd grade, keep that kid playing all the way through the time they finish high school, so that you can get some continuity and build them in a culture. Whereas middle school, and then seeing that middle school band director talk to the high school director and knowing that there's a connection, keeping them connected, that changes a lot, man.
But that goes back to our previous conversation about infrastructure.
Right.
It's
Right.
like that's that revolving door again.
Right. You gotta like do magic tricks to build programs nowadays. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I mean, even for this area that I teach in myself.
Final thought, right quick. Final thought.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's
no. I was just saying, like, honestly, like many times we think these terms of magnet schools is beneficial, but sometimes it hurt that home public school that's in the area, because now kids, you hear magnet, you want to go to these different areas, and the continuity, so those good kids go to those other areas. But that's a whole different topic too.
Yep.
All right, man, y'all went in on that one. So we'll see how you do on this next one. But before we get to that, if you're just walking in, coming in, clicking in, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about music education, band culture, HBCU band culture, and more. Please make sure that when you come in, you smash that like button. Go ahead and hit that like button. We want to get these likes up. All right. We want the number of likes to match the number of people who are viewing us right now, whether you like the content or whether you don't like the content. It don't take long to go ahead and hit that like button. All right. Also, please make sure that if you have time or if you take time, go over to the YouTube channel. We're also live on YouTube. If you're watching us on Facebook, we're live on YouTube as well. But go over to the YouTube channel and go ahead and subscribe to the network. We have a lot of things coming up, and I want to make sure that everybody is involved as much as possible. So go ahead and go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the network. All right, here we go. Here's our next topic. So I'm keeping this in order. I'm doing this for a specific reason. So here's the next topic. Are the parents to blame? So why don't we? Are the parents to blame? So why don't we? Maya.
Jordan said yes in the comments. Yes.
Maya over there getting ready to go out.
No. Saying is how I'm not a parent. I think it's only best that I let the parents in the room speak first.
Well, let me go, goddammit.
Okay, go ahead.
So, yes, I'm going to tell you why. Because some of the parents are the biggest influences of them all. I've seen both sides, the best of both worlds. I've seen students that are lazy, and I've spoken to those parents, and in front of me, they've scolded that child and said, "You need to support him. He's here working late hours. You need to practice. When you come to rehearsal, you rehearse, kind of like we just said, but at home you practice. He's giving you all the material. He's giving you the books. You need to practice," right? Positive thing. But I've also seen a student that had a great talent for it, had the heart for it, but due to the circumstances at home, they have to babysit. So that's one situation. Or their parents look at band or music as an inconvenience to them in their life, so they just remove the child completely. Like, and also I've seen it where the parent was like, "Well, Mr. Mitchell, they only listen to you, and they don't listen to me at home," which that's a whole nother issue. So because of that, I'm gonna take them out what they like doing. So when you think about all of that, and we talked about continuity of your band program, the parents is to blame. And honestly, many of the parents, unfortunately, and I don't mean this in a derogatory manner, but they're merely ignorant to the great, positive things that band and music can do for you. Many of these, I've seen these parents support and go to football games, little league games, and do all this. Go to basketball games. Your child is 4'7", and the
super trash.
Yeah, bro. It's like, bro, he's super third on the bench, bro. He all the way at like he gets water. You know what I'm saying? But you'll go to that, but you won't sit through a concert because I don't want to hear that noise. I literally had a parent real talk at a previous school that was like, "Hey, I work. I don't want to hear that." And the child literally, I had to literally make a deal with the parent that if I arrive to school early, will you drop them off early so that they can practice? So, in my opinion, the parents are to blame, positive or negative. I mean, we could set the standards, we can have the vision, we can do all of that. But in their house, remember, they're sovereign. So because they're sovereign, whatever they say, go. And if they don't want their kid in band, there's nothing that you can absolutely do about it at the end of the day.
All right, Rick, are the parents to blame? So why don't we?
Well, so why don't we implies that I agree that the parents are to blame.
Yeah, I know.
Right. You know, I always got to be the antithesis to everything we talk about.
Absolutely. That's
I think it's situational because for some reason, everything we talk about in most cases implies bad bands. There are a lot of great band programs in this country, y'all, with great band parent foundations that are supporting these bands at a high rate. Avon High School is not a wealthy community, but those parents are absolutely involved, or it's not the wealthiest community. They're a little more affluent. But you better believe those kids are actively involved in the program. Why? Because there's a structure in place, where everybody at the school takes one of the arts. You'd have to be in choir, band, or orchestra. So at one point, so everybody's being exposed to it. And then from there, they can make the decision of what they want to pursue. I think we sometimes overvalue band. The fact of the matter is very few people are going to be able to do what we do. Majority of these people are going to get their families out of their situation by being engineers. We need more STEM than we need trumpet players. I'm sorry. And I'm saying that as a band director. We need more Black people that are actively involved in improving our community through science, technology, engineering, math. We need that more than we need a kid that can play a double G. Sorry. I think go ahead, bro.
Question for you, Rick, though.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, but do you feel that STEM should override fine arts? Because sometimes that's the problem, where they remove fine arts and they just implement STEM.
So say I'm gonna flip. I want to answer your question with a question, Quan. Say you weren't a musician. Say you're a plumber for a living. You know, we talked about that earlier. Say you're a plumber for a living, and you've never taken music. You don't understand, what it takes to be a great musician. Then for you as a plumber, you say, I just want my kid to be successful. I think sometimes it's very easy for us to forget that most parents want what's best for their kid. You know what I'm saying? And I think that those things are absolutely what should take precedence. But I think, like Ms. Sanders said, to have a well-rounded education, you must have the arts. Most business deals are done on the golf course. They aren't done in the boardroom. And being able to, oh man, you heard Tchaikovsky, whatever, that new or that new John Mackey or whatever you want, right? That new Tchaikovsky.
That new Tchaikovsky.
Right. I fell it in a piano bench somewhere. Yeah. Like whatever, man. Like being able to have those well-rounded conversations saying, not only do I know a lot about this thing, this thing, but I can also have a educated discussion about Beethoven's Fifth and how in the fourth movement, there's a part like a minute and a half in that sound like it was pulled straight from a John Williams movie, score. Like how forward thinking that Beethoven piece was, like simple things like that. So I think it's important, Quan, to answer your question that I don't think it's more important. I think they are equally important, but I think that as educators, it's sometimes we can only see it from our point of view. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I studied school leadership for a couple of years. I thought I wanted to be a principal, so I got a lot of classes and stuff in for that. But the last thing I'll say is this. At the end of the day, it ain't about what we want for these kids. It's about what they want for themselves. Our job is to support them and make them the most well-rounded people that they can be. That's the reason why they make you take humanities and stuff like that when you go to college. Yeah, I may want to be a nurse, or I may want to be, a buyer like Maya. I may want to do that, but at the end of the day, I want professors that are going to put me in the best situation to be successful. Not try to impose on me what they want. So as far as the parents, I think most parents want what's best for their kids. Obviously, you have some crappy parents out here, just sorry individuals. But I think it's situational. In some cases, yes. In some cases, no.
I got a question for you, Rick, but I'm gonna wait until we get to everybody. All right. Chief, are the parents to blame? So why don't we?
So I do feel like parents are to blame for not teaching their kids the ability to see things through. I think seeing it through is a very important skill set. I don't care what you are majoring in or what your career is going to be. One of the things with band is that, and I said this to my students the other day, I said, all of the other subjects have changed, but music. You can find an easier way to answer math problems. You can find an easier way to find solutions for scientific equations. There is one way to become better on an instrument, and it's to spend the time with your instrument and build a relationship. And we're talking about a very old school practice and a very new school culture where there's no systematic culture that has supported this over time. So if you want to have success in this space, everybody has to be educated, because there's programs where you'll say they believe a good band program is having a marching band out there just playing as loud as they can, or have a drum line and dancers, and that's the music program is great in their mind because that's all they know. You know what I mean? And so it's a multifaceted answer, to be honest. But a lot of this stuff starts at home with parents. Like if you are, for me as a parent, my son is gonna start guitar lessons. I had to get chopped to myself because I haven't got him start with them lessons yet. But I'm getting him. He wanted to play trumpet, and I was working with that. I can do the trumpet lesson all day, but the guitar, I'm super trash on guitar. So I'm trying to get him set up with some lessons on guitar from a friend of mine. And I know how important it is, but I also don't force it down, his throat to say you got to play. But I do tell him he started soccer. He's got to see it through. He wants to play. He's in karate right now. He want to quit. You're not quitting until you get to this black belt. You can stop it after that. And after that, you ain't gonna want to anyway, because you know what I mean, you made it to top. So we're not allowing that in this house. That's my home though. And I know a lot of kids that I teach don't have these structures. Their parents let them stop doing stuff whenever they feel like it because it inconveniences them. They don't feel like having to worry about certain things. That's what tablets and cell phones have done. I'm guilty of it myself as a parent. People giving their kids cell phones and tablets because they don't want to deal with them for the long haul right there. They don't feel like, every kid don't go and read a book for 20 minutes. They give their kids a cell phone to play video games on them. How many kids you got games on your phone? You got games on your phone because that's what the kids know. That's what they identify with, is playing games on phones. And when they get, like, how many times you get your phone back from a kid and it has 20 different games on it. Why? Because every time they got to a difficult spot, they went to another game, and they're doing it on the cell phone. So they're going to do it in life. That's the same thing. The practices don't change. The item changes, but the practice doesn't change. So the issue becomes, if you don't teach them to see it through, and I ain't gonna get into the poem, but if you don't teach them to see it through, you're going to continue to deal with the issues that we are all dealing with on every level, because it only gets worse as you get older and get more entitled to your opinions and your feelings. So that's where I see it.
All right. Maya, you ready for us?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
So I think the overwhelming thought is, yes, it does start at home. But to add to that, because y'all have done a phenomenal job of being able to hit on those points. But I think in an environment as a whole, the world as a whole, the lack or the undervalue of the arts in general, the lack of appreciation for the arts, for music, I think also has a hand in it as well. Sure, if we say the parents aren't willing to invest, where they're pulling their kids out of this situation or not wanting to invest in their talent or develop talent, that's definitely a thing as well. But a lot of what these kids are seeing and what they're attracted to is they don't have to do much to get what or where they want to be. We're living in an influencer age. We're living in a STEM age where at this point, kids are not even considering going to college because they're like, I can make money and I can live well off and be able to support my family without even having to do too much. I can create an app. I can get on YouTube and review some toys and make generational wealth for my family. So I think that that's a thing about it too. The lack of instruction or the lack of exposure to the arts. We were just saying that, I mean, shit. In first grade, I had my recorder and I was hitting across the head with the 3 blind mice, you know what I'm saying? But then when did I have my next music class in school? And I think that that's only gotten worse unless you are someone that grows up in a household where you have a music educator, you have someone that was in this band, jazz band, whomever, a connoisseur of music. If you don't really have that, then we can't really place that on those kids when they don't really, you only know what you're introduced to in so many facets, right? So sure, you can have a development or an eye or an ear for music, and it can either be developed or pushed aside. Of course, that is part of the conversation as well. But I mean, all in all, there's so many things that goes into it. And we say, why don't we blame the parents? Because you can't. I mean, like, sure, we can have the conversation over and over again, but if you go to the parent-teacher conference, it'd be like, well, to hell with you. You ain't doing this to your kids. Okay, fine. And then what? And they come bring a lawsuit on you, and then you the one that's in trouble. That's why. I mean, we can't, in this day and age, you can't really open your mouth openly about that. So that's why we don't. Yeah.
I mean, I knew that, but I just wanted to see where your responses was.
No,
Here was my question for you, Rick. You say there are great bands across the country a lot, which you know me, bro. I don't ever deny that, right? My question is, so because there are great bands, do we disregard those who are going through struggles?
No, but I think that that's the only thing we ever talk about. There are a lot of black bands and black communities that are doing amazing right now. We always bring up Minor High School. Mario talked about Whitehaven. We can talk about Southwest DeKalb. There are a lot of bands in this country, but it seems like our focus is always on music is so bad for black people. It's not. And I wanted to bring a different dimension to that. And I know that's not what you're saying. So I don't want you to, get upset because I know that's not what you're saying. I'm just trying to highlight that they're the same way there are a number of bands that are struggling right now. There are a lot of bands that we teach that are doing amazing. And I think it's important to highlight those band directors who are doing their job at a high level. That's the only reason why I brought that up.
Okay. All right. I was just curious on your thoughts on that. All right. If you're just joining us, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about music education, band culture, HBCU band culture, and more. All right. As soon as you come in here, if you haven't done it already, please make sure that you smash that like button. Smash that like button. Go ahead and get those likes up. We want to get those likes up. Whether you like the content or not, go ahead and get the likes up, all right? It doesn't take that long. I always got to say this. It don't take that long to click a like button, so just go ahead and make it happen, all right? Also, please make sure that you go over to the YouTube page. If you're not on YouTube page, go over to the YouTube page and subscribe to the network. Spend time doing it right now. That don't take nothing but about 20 seconds. You just go over there, type the YouTube in, type in Real Talk That Talk, and the page should come up. The page should say Passion Is. You click on that. There you go. You subscribe. All right. And also turn on those notifications because we're going to be uploading a lot more content. All right. Here we go. So I don't know if y'all noticed, but I started with the teachers. Then I went to the students, then the parents. And all of this to ask one question. Are marching bands losing its luster? Are marching bands losing its luster?
Can I go first?
Sure.
No. Hell no. I think there's a bigger divide now between a lot of these bad bands that we see and these amazing programs that are marching band is at, to me, is at the height of its development. Used to be that you were in a military style band, you marched in simple drill formations up and down the field playing John Philip Sousa and all these things. Now you go to a high school marching band show. Let's talk about BOA. These people got props on the field. It's more theatrical than it is traditional to what we're used to. And it's amazing. You know, I talked about it last show. High schools playing Hindemith Symphony in B flat on the field. Incredible. And playing at a high level with show design, drill aspects, general effect. No, I don't think that marching band is losing its luster. I think that a lot of programs haven't evolved. So to them, yeah, if I was doing the same thing over and over again, I wouldn't want to do that over and over and over again. But I think it's important to expose people to the fact that there's a lot of exciting things happening in the marching arts. And I think that a lot of people don't see them because they're hard to find or they haven't been exposed to them by a band director. You know what I'm saying? Like we always bring up drum corps on the show. Drum corps evolved. You look at a drum corps video, like we said, from the 70s to now, you wouldn't even be able to tell it's the same activity. But some of our programs, you can. They look exactly the same. They haven't evolved. They haven't changed. So when you do the same thing over again, I would expect people to get bored. So I say all that, man, like, no. Marching band has not lost its luster. It's still just as fun as it was when we all started doing it. It's just like Maya said when she spoke a couple of segments ago. It's on the director to do something that's exciting and that kids want to actually participate in. And Julian, I'll end by talking about the conversation you and I had. If your teacher's not willing to explore different genres of music and different ways of doing what we do, then that's on you that your students aren't excited about what you do. Shoot, if my teacher came to me and said we were doing a Tribe Called Quest show, I'd be so hyped. But that's because I like Tribe Called Quest. And then doing it in a manner that's exciting, musically educational. A prime example was at Blue Coats. I know when people saw that we were going to do the Beatles, they was like, oh, Lord, man, I don't know about this. And it turned out to be one of the best shows we ever did. So, you know, no, marching band has not lost its luster, but I think that it's in show bands in particular, because we're doing the same thing over and over with this stupid dance routine at the end. You know, the same format, the same music, the same shows. If I heard Can't Let Go on the field one more time, I'm going to let go. I'm going to let go completely. All right? Shots fired! Shots fired! All right. So, yeah, man. No. Marching bands have not lost their luster. No.
All right. Quan, are marching bands losing its luster?
No, I don't think marching bands have lost its luster, but well-rounded bands have. And I say that because I remember a time, and I started participating in band like the early 2000s, right? And you would get so much, in my opinion, around that time. Like you would go from a gospel song to a rap song to an old school jam to you didn't know what to expect, honestly, around that time. I think now, and honestly, if you look at the evolution of summer bands, like it's kind of like what summer bands started doing, the traditional show style started following as well. And what I mean by that is, I remember one point to be in a summer band, like you really had to try out and do different things like that. And you really was doing drill shows, right? You really was learning, aspects of drilling. Now we just park and play. And I think that same concept has trickled over to the HBCU world, where it's like we said earlier in the show. Is the field show important to us anymore? And so I think once you take that aspect of pageantry out of it, and all you want to do is, like y'all in y'all words, play rap daddies all day, I'm not going to be excited about it either. Because half the songs, not because I'm old, I don't know, but most of them sound the same. And then so there's no variety in the stands. It's the same shows on the field. So from that aspect, yeah, it's lost its luster. However, I think we've lost that concept of being well-rounded. That's what we've lost. And I think honestly, it's gonna take, like you say, the changing of those directors of bands to bring a new aspect and a new light to it.
Every song that come out today, triple it, 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 triple, triple it, triple it. I'm like,
and that's a hit, bro. That's a hit right
yeah,
there.
That thing got right. Oh, you got to put.
Let Trip triple it. Let Trip triple it. Let Trip triple it.
You know what I'm saying? But those are the things, honestly, that have his issues. And kind of like piggybacking from the last topic, for every, and this is unfortunate, for every great band that Rick was mentioning, unfortunately, what's exposed is those 4 or 5 bad bands. And those bands are the ones that have the views, and then a lot of kids are influenced and thinking this is good band. Because like we talk about it, to be quote unquote a good band, you got to be loud. Like you said, what was the term you use? I guess you're whack if you have a good tone quality.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. So it's like we have a thwarted sense of what's good. So what we think is great, the people on this panel, people will be like, well, they're whack. Like I saw a post about FAMU that literally said, they were throwing shade. They said, what are some things you rather do than watch FAMU play? And one of them said, watch paint dry. I mean, I laughed, but Fam is a great band, bro. Like this person saying we glorify negativity. That's a prime example. All of that. And it's unfortunate. But
I think in Fam's case, though, Quan, and I'm gonna shut up because I want Mario and Maya to go. But I think in Fam's case, I think it's from the standpoint that Fam doesn't try to be cutting edge anymore. They do the same stuff over and over. I think it's coming from that. I don't think it's a tone quality thing. If I hear Elsa's one more time, it always sounds great, but it's never anything different. They never push the envelope. They never do anything to try to push those kids. And I think that's more so what people are talking about rather than them having a great sound, because they've had a couple games where they didn't sound fantastic to me.
But that's a different topic. But I feel I feel.
All right. Chief, are marching bands losing its luster?
I mean, so I got two sides of it. I don't think they're losing its luster in all actuality, but I'll just be the antithesis just to play devil's advocate. But I'll say this. In a time where people are having a hard time getting kids in their band room to play, you have mass bands popping up everywhere around the country, getting kids to play because they want to, as we said earlier, blow that hole. You know what I mean? They just trying to crank up. And this is the reality. Just like in there's two different worlds when it comes to like your, Dirty Dozen brass band, jazz, traditional New Orleans type of sound. And then you had the 1940s bebop jazz people who are in New York, and they were doing the intellectual vibes, and they was just meeting with the, the whole energy of Harlem and everything. You think about, there was people who looked at that and said, I don't consider that stuff to be the same. There were people looking down on both sides of it. We just got to make sure we look back at history and we're not on the wrong side of it all. And what I mean by that is that there is a category for things. And sometimes that just has to be what it is. I remember having this argument about maybe 8-9 years ago in college, talking about rap music and saying that, rap music ain't rap music no more. And all this stuff is trash. And I remember being on my soapbox, my typical Norfolk State soapbox, talking shit about something. But I'm going to tell you what I realized is that everything has its category. Rap music became more of it took over what Britney Spears and stuff was. It became more of the pop music sensation. And so the marching band field, like when it comes to cranking in the stands, shout out to Meet Me on the 50. My man Eddie was just posted a question on his page in Facebook, and he said something about what do people he said the fans have spoken. What do people want to see? Do you want to see a good field show, or do you want to see the bands battle in the stands? And the overwhelming majority was people who want to see the bands battle in the stands. They feel like that's where the creative energy is coming from nowadays for a lot of people. They want to hear the new arrangements. They want to hear who plays the loudest. They want to hear that's where the focus is for some. Now you have your traditionalists that want to see the field show and all this other stuff. You mentioned FAM earlier, Rick. Yeah, FAM was cutting edge at one point, and then after some of their greater band directors kind of left, the people behind them, and this is a difficult, and I don't mean to be mean, and I say this is a difficulty for some programs getting out of the shadow of the great band directors of the past. And that is really tough. That's really tough because then people get so accustomed to having things be a certain way because that's what they believe is good in their brain. You know what I mean? People who love Bethune, they don't want to see Bethune really do much different because that's Bethune to them. Like, that's what they have grown to understand it to be. So if you take that away from them and it becomes something else, now it's like, I don't know, that's not good no more. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just like you have people who are in the SWAC who are used to a certain style of playing. And then we were talking about Alabama State. As soon as you hear them playing with a little bit more tone, color, and balance, and I was like, oh, they ain't blowing that hole. They trash. You know what I mean? We're going to put it in a category because it's something that we're not able to digest as well. So what you need to do, yeah, right. Bethune is also boring when it comes to their creativity. But once upon a time, that wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Once upon a time, that wasn't boring. But when you don't innovate and do things different, like Rick was saying earlier, that's what you get. So marching bands, are they losing their luster for a lack of creativity? Yeah. But if you're talking about going in the stands and playing some creative arrangements and blowing that hole up, you ever say? No, not at all. Because people are regular people who are not even associated with bands pay for tickets to go see Mississippi Mass marching band or go to see New Orleans All-Star Band or Georgia's All-Star Band. They go see it, not just band heads, regular people. So if regular people are going to see this, that means there is you have to find out, okay, we have people who love the band in the stand stuff, and there's people who love the field stuff. It is what it is. Categories are being made, and there's a line in the sand, and we got to find out how we move forward and figure out what side you're going to be on, or how to blend it together and make it worthwhile. Because the kids who are coming up that's going into these HBCU programs, some of them don't even want to march. They just want to play. They don't want to do nothing but do a block. They don't want to do marching cadences. They want to block, and that's it. Or they want to play loud, and that's it. So that's part of the issue. So no, marching band ain't losing its luster. It's changing.
Well, then would that be considered marching band then? If all you want to do is walk in, you don't even want to march in. You
right. It's evolving.
Marching band.
But Mario and Julian, you both are bringing up a different conversation. The marching band centered music program. If a kid comes to school and they get more money to just come and blow in the marching band, but they don't have to sit in the one ensemble and contribute at a high level and stuff like that, then yes, your marching band your band program is not going to flourish.
Right.
Four band programs are based specifically on what the marching band does. Majority of the funding goes to the marching band at our HBCUs and all that. So that's that argument, and that's a whole nother argument altogether. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, Mike, before you go, I know you've been burning. Hey, if you're listening to us right now, I put a link in the comments so you can dial in with us if you have any comments about anything that we've talked about. If you want to come chop it up with us, all right. So look in the comments. The link is in the comments. All right, go ahead, Mike.
So this is the problem with going last. All the good stuff is already said typically.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. We've already talked about. I agree. Mm-hmm. How the overall sound, intonation, things of that nature, the value of entertainment in the stands versus on the field. We've already all talked about that. Now, I'm a little nervous when saying this because it's definitely not sure how it's going to be taken. But I do think that on the subject of change, as bands continue to get more and more diverse, we the Blacks, we like things a particular way. And as folks into the band culture. We were talking about, I can't think of his name, old boy from Alabama State. As these things become more and more normalized.
Justin,
yes. This year, my own band, for example, PV has one of the most, in terms of Latinos, Mexican Americans, all of those different, I can't even think because I'm so nervous. I don't even want to say it, but this is what we're here for. The Blacks are keen to liking things a particular way. And I think as we have to adapt and diversify and be able to open up the door for things to look a little bit different, it takes away from some of the spice, or it takes away some of the appeal to we the Blacks, because it's not what we're used to. And that's just one less thing on the table that we have for ourselves. So I think that potentially some of that is kind of like, well, Fab Time used to be our thing, or being a part of an HBCU band used to look a particular way. Now, I'm not saying that I'm opposed. I'm all for integration, diversity, inclusion, all of that. Let me be clear. I'm just saying, as a whole, the Blacks don't necessarily think that way. A lot of them don't. We talked about it last week with, are we on the verge of men or persons who identify as men being entered into dance lines and things of that nature. So I think that is part of the appeal that may be a little bit lost, or some that may be like, okay, well, now they're yucking everybody's yum, for lack of better words, of what we were talking about last week. That's just a devil's advocate thing that I wanted to add in, could potentially be a thing. I'm not sure, but I don't know. How do y'all feel about that?
You can get a letter from Human Resources, Mike.
That's exactly why I don't work for anyone's band program, music program, university, or anything like that. Because but that's what we're here to talk about, those uncomfortable conversations. And that's not something I haven't heard that perspective.
Absolutely necessary.
It could be a thing. It could definitely be a thing. If we don't feel like something is for us, we're not prone to go in on it, right? So at one point, is he invited to the cookout? That was a joke. Now it's kind of like, okay, everything has to be about making others feel comfortable in quote unquote our spaces. Is that something that could make people be a little have some pushback about the culture?
This question for everybody, and it may be kind of off subject from the question, but why we just can't have both, y'all? Like, why does it have to be a choice? Like, why we can't have great field shows and great tone quality in the stands? While you pushing aggression, a little bit of aggression through the horn. That's in reason. Like, why? Like, maybe I'm thinking, maybe my faith is too big. I believe.
No, I don't think your faith is too big, Quan. I think you're being absolutely reasonable.
Absolutely, you are. Yeah, right. You absolutely are.
I think that goes to what we talked about. There are only there's a minute amount of people who get it. People who get it, like the people on this call, the people in this comment box, those are people who get it. You only get a couple of those every year, and it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller as the cycle continues on. So people who get it, of course, they want to share that same concept. But people, you got the naysayers in UTM University. You got the naysayers that just want to get on their horn and blow that hoe. The majority of people just want to get on their horn and blow that hoe. And that's just where we are right now.
Prime example, I don't know if we ever mentioned this school, but I got to shout out this school, Florida Memorial. Like, that's a school, honestly, I've been looking at that school for like 2 years. Like, quiet as kept. Like that, give them numbers. If they had the same numbers as a Texas Southern or Norfolk or a Prairie View, they would be one of the best bands in the country, like hands down. And I think they're doing some great things. But like we're saying, those are the programs that honestly get shunned because of course the numbers, but then the tone quality and whatnot. Like I think that's the most frustrating thing about it all, man. It's we gotta have both. And whenever God allows me the opportunity to be a collegiate band director, like this is in my heart of hearts. I want them to say, hey, this is the best, well-balanced band on the field and in the stands, period.
But I think I think to answer your question, Quan, I think it's a lack of vision that holds these groups back. Like if I went into like y'all know me, I've been a collegiate director since 2012. Any job that I take, whether it's HBCU or predominantly white institution, my standard is what it is, and your job especially as a music major is to live up to that standard. So if you're going to accept the marching band money, then it is going to be written into your marching band contract that you will also fully participate in wind ensemble. There is no exception. You, as a music major, will put, or if you accept my money, you're going to participate in a college ensemble. Like, I think that's the problem. So many marching bands don't start doing wind ensemble till the spring,
or don't do it at all.
Or don't do it at all. Right? They got marching, and it's marching season, and then it's parade season. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so many groups do that, bro. So I think it's all about the standard that's set from the band director. It's always going. That's why I'm going to go back. Here we go, Julie. There's no such thing as bad bands. There's only bad band directors. If you have no vision for your band program is going to be terrible.
But I have a question with that, because I don't always. Well, I don't totally disagree with you on that. Here's my question though: is that lack of vision or lack of experience and exposure to other things than what you have been used to seeing? So if you have a director who's only had an undergraduate degree from one place, gotten their master's from that same place, and never did anything else, and then they're teaching somebody's university program, to me, that is lack of experience and exposure and not vision.
To me, that is bad hiring practices at a university. We have to have standards. There are different levels to music education. Collegiate level is the upper echelon of what we do. So if your university thinks that a person with an undergrad degree is qualified to be a college band director, then that's on them. You get what you expect, or you get what you get. Like, I'm sorry, if I'm a doctor, all right, I'm a heart surgeon, all right. If a hospital hires me and I got D's and I've almost flunked out of my residency, and then I come in there and kill a couple people, that ain't on me. Well, it is, but it's also on the hospital for giving me that opportunity. A lot of people that's sitting in these college band positions shouldn't be there at these HBCUs, and all they're doing is creating bad cultures because they don't know. They don't do the research. They aren't lifelong learners. They aren't out here seeing what's on the cutting edge. That's on them. And that's on the university for hiring unqualified people. Like I said, we always are critical of our own programs. This is not happening on a wide scale at these larger institutions. Why? Because there's a standard in place. If you can't do the gig the way we need you to do it, time to go. Point blank, period. That's why Ohio State every year has the pressure on them that they have. They put all them awesome videos of drill on the internet, and people have come to expect it. So their band director can't go out there and if he comes out there and does that Michael Jackson again, guess what people gonna do? Oh, I haven't seen that already. I'm good. But yet we get them same step 2 drills every year. They break that flower drill out every 2 years. Like, come on, man. Like, that's what we get, fellas, at our program. Hit that step 2, daddy. Play some R&B tune facing the end zone so can't nobody hear it. Same thing that people did in the 70s. Like, we got to grow. And if we don't expect that from our program, sorry, you're going to get what you get, which is shitty band programs. Point blank, period.
Yep. Some of the same things happening each and every year from programs doing the same drills, doing the same concepts, playing the same music, and getting all this love for doing the same thing and repeating the same thing. Nobody is ever challenged to have to push the envelope.
Yep. Every game.
And then when you do push the envelope, you got the people who pushing back saying, "Oh no, you need to go back to what we're comfortable with. We want you to stay in a box forever." Like, Jesus Christ, that's got to stop.
Oh, Mario. Go ahead, Maya. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was going to say, I mean, that's a good point, and which I take it to, people have to take into account growing good programs. Yeah, the director is at the head of it, but I don't think it only stops there, right? When you bring in someone who has the expertise or the knowledge, if we quantify that, when you're bringing in someone new, you have to start from the basics, right? So we've talked about it time and time again. Those bad apples are those persons who don't want to transition with the new vision of the program. You got to get rid of those. You got administration, for lack of better words, put my boy on the field right now, right? I want my boy on the field now, right? You got administration that wants things a certain way. I'm giving you all this money. You need to do exactly what I say, but they don't really get the vision. So by the time you get administration on the vision, or excuse me, by the time you get the buy-in from administration and their vision, has your alumni association bought out, right? Do you now not have the support or the monies that are coming in from the outside? Has your overall audience bought out? So there's so many factors and contributions rather, that go alongside with recreating this vision and pushing that to the next audience, because everyone that has a hand, anyone that's a stakeholder, if they're not all rolling on all fours at the same time, which 9 times out of 10 they won't be, now you still are in this, you back in the cycle again, this transition of trying to figure out, how do I grow? How do I progress? How do I get my kids in line? How do I meet administration's needs? How do I fund my staff program? How do I make sure the kids are well-rounded? How do I make sure the kids are motivated? It's an ongoing thing. So I think that makes it to where it's not just on the bandsman. It's not just on the band directors. It's all stakeholders involved.
I guess this is my final thought. I agree with everything you said, Maya, and what everybody said. But what I realize is, going back to Rick's point, you have to have the vision. Write the vision and make it plain. Like, at the end of the day, the reality is, and I'm saying this and I'm publicly saying this, I marched under Prophet Edwards from 2006 until his passing. You feel me? When the new administration, with Dr. Zachary, Rick, Julian, Hop, and everybody, Bailey, when everybody joined the team, Real Talk, I think that was one of the most uncomfortable times I could say for me, Rich. I'm not going to speak for nobody else, but for me, because there are several things that took place behind, of course, those Hobart Taylor walls that, as a student, you felt like, man, these guys are coming to quote unquote replace, kind of like my daddy, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And when things change in that house, you feel like, bro, like he moving this around and he doing that. So initially you have a sense of resentment, but that's a young person, right? From a mature person looking at, because I've seen it with my eyes, the transition and the growth, not just with the numbers, but sound, but a different perspective on the field. The music educators that graduated under that leadership. For example, shout out to Malik Newman, who's at Booker T. Washington in Houston. Great guy. Malcolm Wharton. Like, it's just certain people, bro. They just was different. And then they were doing a damn thing. And what I realized is, you got to be a specific person that's called, Real Talk, to transition a band, like you said, from one director to the next. Now, one of the issues that we have at HBCUs, we only want to hire the same people that graduated from the same university. So you're going to get the same product. Yep. If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same result. The problem,
or you don't want to hire the people from your university.
Either or, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you truly think about all of that, and with what Maya said, with those stakeholders, at the end of the day, bro, that's why some people just be like, all right, it is what it is. I'm gonna just bow gracefully and do what you say then. You know what I'm saying? But it's such a bigger picture of why, honestly, some of these band programs and music departments are literally the same. If your band director didn't take wind ensemble serious, well, you not, because you only can give what you have.
But Quan, you brought up an interesting point, bro, and I want to ask you about this because it's interesting hearing it from your perspective as an alumnus. And you and I have talked, but when you talked about how it created a level of resentment when Prophet had passed away, we came in as the new administration took over. There wasn't one before us as well. And for us in particular, me and Julian used to talk about this all the time. It developed a defense mechanism for us as educators. because we felt like everybody was against us. So we had this FU mentality.
Right.
I think a lot of that was created because we could have definitely communicated better. I think communication is the part too that we haven't talked about. Marching bands are losing its luster because directors don't know how to communicate the vision and communicate to people that aren't musicians like us, don't know how to talk to regular people. And I think that's the United States thing. It's like different categories. You either on my side or you're the other. And I have to hate you or I have to be against you. If one thing I will say about Southern, that media presence is second to none, man. What that guy, what's his name? Garrett Edgerson, or I'm not sure that brother's name. What he's doing with that band program, man, I wish I could hire that guy to be in my band program, to be honest. That dude is official, bro. Like, Southern always had a following, but now Southern's getting million views on videos online and stuff like that, bro. Like, ain't no other marching bands other than Ohio State getting that type of view. So I think it's a combination of having a vision, but also being able to effectively communicate that vision to people that aren't music majors, as well as, like Maya says, your constituents. And I'll wrap up by saying, at the end of the day, we made a lot of mistakes when we got to PV. We did. I think we did, in some cases, take this holier than thou approach. Because we had a vision that we knew was the correct way to do it, and we had so many people against us trying to enforce that vision. But on the other hand, I am of the train of thought, man, you cannot have a successful band program without a effective and supportive alumni base. You just can't, man. Like, those people, like, say I'm a new band director getting to a school. I don't know the traditions of them band. So if I can't trust anybody because all I see online is, oh man, you the worst thing I ever seen, even though you don't know me, even though you can't play your instrument better than me or teach me, but I'm the work better than me, but I'm the worst, then I'm going to develop that mechanism that's going to shut that off. And I think, that's for another show, but I think that was a lot of that. I think that happens in so many bands across the country. Get, communication, man. Get your alumni on board.
All right. There were two things that I wanted to say very quickly. And let's see, I want to see if we can kind of make this quick. So Maya, when the question came about as far as our marching bands losing its luster, one of the things that I was thinking about while we were having the conversation was from the dancers' perspective, right? Because, like, as I'm looking at dancers and the culture, especially in the HBCU realm, it seems to be more people interested than back when I was looking at bands from the 80s and 90s. Would you agree to that, or would you disagree with that?
I agree.
Okay, I should have just played the clip then. All right, so yeah, I was just wondering because it definitely is a lot more girls who are going to these camps, and there are a lot more camps that are being had, and so on and so forth. So I personally just believe, from what I can visually see, I'm not a dancer, but from that perspective, it just seems as though it's definitely growing on the dancer side of things.
Sure. I mean, the resounding notion is that, yes, without a doubt, in terms of appreciation, talent, the auxiliary or auxiliaries have progressed and been given their kudos. Now, what that progression looks like, and is it quality versus quantity or what have you, that's a whole different conversation. But to answer your simplistic question, yes, I agree.
Yes. I ain't want to get into that aspect, but I know where you were going with that. The other thing I was going to briefly say in the conversation that all of you all had is, I think too, we also have to look at what's available in music to play, right? One of the things that, and I don't know if anybody else noticed that, more bands got more excited when Leave the Door Open came out.
Bro, do we have a Russian bot on our
I'm about to say, do we got a bot? We got a bot, bro.
Yeah, man, we done made it to that point, man.
Yeah, survival rate of COVID virus 99.7.
Look at that.
Hey,
But,
bro, we official, cuz.
R2D2 head ass.
But no, one of the things that I was excited about, or one of the things that I noticed, is that when Leave the Door Open came out, like everybody was excited by that, right? Because you finally got a song that was making the charts that actually had some substance to the music, and everybody was trying to play it. And I think that just the availability of music and, in top tens and all the stuff that we specifically listen to, I think that plays a big part in, what we're doing and what we're doing in the culture, what we're doing as far as the music that we're letting out, what we're doing as far as luster, keeping the entertainment there. So that was just one of the thoughts that I had. I don't know if anybody wants to respond on it, but it is what it is. All right. Let's move forward. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. If you're just tuning in, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about music education, band culture, HBCU band culture, and more. Please make sure that you smash that like button. Please smash that like button if you're in here. If you're thinking about leaving out and going to sleep or whatever, before you go to sleep, smash that like button. Also, if you go over to the YouTube channel, please make sure you subscribe to the network. We want to make sure that as many people get subscribed to the network as possible and turn on notifications, because we are going to continuously be uploading a bunch of content. So you want to make sure that you are connected with us on that. Also, I put a link in the comments. So if you want to call in with us and have a conversation about any of the topics that we discussed, you are free to do that. Just please make sure that cameras are on. And as we're doing that, we want to give you time to do that. So here comes our portion of announcements. So Rick, you want to kick this one off, or you want me to go through our normal joints first?
I'm gonna wait till next week, man, because I gotta make sure everything's in place. So yeah, we're good.
All right.
Let's go through our normal way of doing it.
Gotcha.
I'll go first though. Support Black. Always.
I'm talking about go ahead. Not our closings, man. God.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, go first.
Okay.
Go.
Oh yeah, guys. October 30th. We Talk That Talk is really supporting this event. Prairie View, Texas, at Prairie View A&M University, U.S. Bands and Blue Devils Entertainment will present the first U.S. Bands HBCU style adjudicated event. So it's the same thing you would expect from going to a drum corps show or going to a UIL performance, except for our bands. So you get qualified individuals that know our styles. You don't have to change who you are to do this. And it's going to be a great event. And you can meet me, Quan, Maya, or Julian at the event. We come say hi to us. We'll give you a high five. Mario going to be on camera. We'll put Mario on camera. I told you let's do the show from there.
I got something in the works, man. Right. I'm gonna let y'all know. Just hold on. I'm working on something.
But yeah, if you want to see great bands get put on great shows and be adjudicated by great individuals in our field, then please come out. And plus, you're supporting the Marching Storm, because those guys are doing great things, and they, they support this as well. So come out and support. And also know that the survival rate of the COVID virus is 99.7%.
99.7.
I gotta always make sure every time I shout out my LB with a little love, man. I was excited today, man, because I made some wings, man, some fries, and we put a little bit of that spicy garlic in there and a little bit of that lemon pepper, man. So I'm telling you right now, man, A Little Love is a top-notch seasoning, man. Please make sure you go over to A Little Love. You can find them on Facebook, or you can go ahead and type into Google A Little Love seasoning, and it will definitely come up. Tell him that his LB sent him.
Can we talk about how that sticker, the picture on that sticker, put it back up? That don't look nothing like help. That look like a 75-year-old man named Earl. Like, that don't look nothing like help.
That looks like help, man. God.
Billy Earl. Fix your carburetor alternator.
Right.
$75. Carburetor alternator.
75.
I got this for you.
all butt crack out.
That cigarette stove, that thing ain't going nowhere, boy. Hey, yes, I'll be there. Open that pop right with all that, boy.
Anyway,
He remember you from when you was little.
Right. Why be your daddy, boy?
I saw my man in here earlier. He was definitely talking in here. I don't know if he's still here, but if he is still here,
Bailey, get on camera.
yeah, please.
No, hey, Julian, don't pub it. Tell him to get his butt on camera and pub his own mess.
Man, hey, man, I can tell him that. Get on camera and pub your own mess, but I'm gonna be nice enough to go ahead and at least talk about it, and then you can come in and talk about it a little bit more. All right, but I still want to make sure that we are supporting him, and he's trying to get funds for his music program, and we want to continue to support all music programs. It doesn't matter if you're HBCU band program, inner city school band program, or an affluent neighborhood. We want to support all music education, and band programs. All right, so like I said last time, I believe this particular donation is closed on Facebook, but he did leave his contact information for you to be able to send whatever donations that you possibly can, man. Send what you can. I was excited to see that he posted a picture not too long ago where he did receive a couple of instruments. So, every little bit helps. So do what you can. All right. There we go. Maya, did I wake you up?
What? I've been up this whole time. I've been working. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I've been working while doing this whole time.
I didn't know you was working.
I'm about to text Bailey and say, "Come on the show."
No, you ain't got.
Hey, yo.
Put your shirt back on.
With the What's up, bro?
What's going on? I'm on the camera. Bye. What's going on, man?
Man, what
up, bro?
Bro?
Honorable Mohammed Quan. Bro, look, man, I've been enjoying the show for the last couple of weeks, man. Just took me so long. I'm talking, bro.
No, baby. What's up?
This is my son, man. Come. They come.
What's
Oh no!
I remember when that boy
It ain't
was
been
born.
that long, bro.
Right.
Yeah,
And where's my birthday twin at?
She in there with her mama.
Y'all, look, I told Bailey, I looked him right in his eye. I was like, your daughter is going to be born on my birthday. Because I think she was due like the 18th or something like that, right, babe? And I was like, your daughter is going to be born on my birthday.
She surely did wait till your birthday. She
Shout
surely
out
did.
to my girl. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Bailey,
Cool.
tell us about your program, bro.
So, man, I'm at this charter school in Galveston, Ambassadors Preparatory Academy, man. It's crazy.
Congrats, bro.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you, man. I'm enjoying it out there, man. It's a bit slower than what I'm used to, but it's been great, man. Kids are excited. I teach kindergarten, man. Kindergarten to 8th grade. Every single class comes through my music room, man. And it's good to see the excitement in the kids' face. Because, man, they just happy to have a music program. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm still working on right now the whole school is working on time signatures. We almost clear as a glass of water. We still a little muddy in the glass, but it's okay. I have to remind my kids that this is why I'm here, man. If you don't understand something, say you don't understand. Just because I have a bunch of lessons planned out, we don't move on until you get it. No stress. I don't got no stress over my head. Let's take our time and learn this thing. I don't got no stress from the principal trying to get us to get out there and march up and down or do nothing. So I'm just teaching music. I'm having fun teaching music again. It's good to get away from the drumline stuff for a bit, and just really get back to teaching music to kids who really want to learn music. Because they just in that area, man. They had nothing, man. When I say nothing. Mm-hmm. Literally nothing. The keyboard's there. I put some batteries in them, but the kids play a 5-finger exercise and the keyboard start cutting out. My kids so excited, they just turn it back on and go right back at it again. So it's good to see that kind of excitement, So I'm happy to go to work every day. And my little kindergarten girls and, we get into singing Frozen every time they come to class. Jesus. but they love it. Get them a little bit of do, re, mi, fa, so, and then I can play Frozen for the next 10 minutes for them. Get them back focused and go back to to that. So it's good, man. I'm having, like I said, I'm having a lot of fun. It's good to break away from drumline and just watch it from the outside looking in, get away from some of that stress. Because, man, going to a legacy school and teaching at a legacy school and trying to write and doing all that stuff, man, that's, we can
How
talk
you,
about that.
So
on
how
another
how
day.
do people support your band now, man? How do people?
So I had a page up on Facebook to do so people can support, but after the hurricane and stuff, I sort of let it just go down and use what I had to get some. So I was able to get 2 trumpets, a saxophone, 2 clarinets, and some method books. So I appreciate people for that. I really do. I was able to raise about $620, and that's what I was able to get with it. Used stuff, but you know, I was appreciative for it nonetheless. So I was able to start 2 guys on trumpet this week, a guy on trombone, 2 of my keyboard players, they learning clarinet now. So, you know, I've been doing the private lesson thing, so I'm playing all these instruments to it, and it's fun, man. It's fun getting into all that kind of stuff. It's bringing back a whole lot of stuff that I sat in the band room and watch Rick and them teach, you know, and I'm sitting to myself like, dang, I sound like Rick now. What's going on here? You know, I have in the last from August to now, man, I have barely taught or touched drum. I have the drum set up in my office, and I haven't been able to play or teach it. I'm teaching 2 people drum set, but it's not really been my focus. So maybe in the next month or so I can get back to the drumming thing. But you know, it's been good, man. And people can look forward on my page. I'll probably open it up again once I see, because in Galveston, like I said, a lot of people had gotten hit by the storm. I was down there when the storm came down, so I didn't want to be insensitive to that. So I just let it go away for a little bit. I'll probably go back to it and put it back up. And then with people from New Orleans getting hit, I wanted to be considerate of that. So I just stopped the whole fundraiser thing for a little bit. And plus, I'm not looking for real numbers. I want to really be able to spend time with the kids. So I'm not trying to fluster myself because it's only me one, and it's the whole school. So right now I got a very small program. I'm not looking to do the marching band thing. Really and truly, man, just from my experience, I'm not. Trust me. This is a much needed break from the marching band thing. Just trying to grow musicians who really have an appreciation for the arts and understand music, you know, having the conversation with these kids and just making simple connections. Like the other day I was teaching them 4/4, and I was explaining to them that, you know, when people in rock music talk about fellas having bars, it's really coming from this, what you see in the front of you, which is bar or measure lines. It's coming from the groupings of how they say their words, which is actually can be notated in notes. And everybody was just like, poof, 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 poof. I was like, yeah, y'all think that y'all invented something? No, it's grounded right here. So a lot of the stuff that you guys talked about tonight, I was just like, we just got to hold the standard firm, man, on both ends. We got to hold our kids to the standard. And just from coming out here teaching, getting away from the college area, man, I realized that it's a lot of teachers out here that ain't doing nothing, bro. They collecting big checks and they ain't doing big squat. You hear me? Like, they failing these kids. You know, I really don't blame the kids. You know, parents can be tough too, and it's situational, like Rick said, but kids want to learn, man. But they want to learn from people who will build a relationship. You know, my first 2 weeks in the school, I wasn't teaching music. I was just talking to the kids about the school. What do you like about the school? Why you go here? What's going on in the community? What do you do? And just from that, within that first 2 weeks, man, I can't say that I have any behavioral issues in the classroom. Like, kids literally ask me when we're gonna have our next music class. I got kids signing up. Like, I'm turning down kids right now from signing up for after school band program because I just don't want to take on too much. So, you know, I'm enjoying the show, man, Julian, and you guys. I really am, you know. So,
Well, man,
yeah,
we know we're gonna support you, man, and I appreciate your support, bro.
most definitely, man.
Always.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
I appreciate you.
All right, my nigga.
They're over there eating
them chicken wings and come that duka. You all ready? All right, man. Y'all take care.
All right,
Hey,
bro.
Maya.
Ellie, Goku, Applewhite.
Hey, Bailey.
Tell him bye. Because he over here like he want to be in the conversation. Come on, tell him bye.
Bye, man.
All right, man. Y'all take care.
All right, bro.
All right, bro.
All right.
Have a good night.
All right, y'all too.
Ellie, Goku, Applewhite. She jump on the show. I see a UAPB sign. Jump on.
Man.
Yeah, clarinet for life. I'm a clarinet player too. That's what's up.
Oh man. Dang, this boy getting big. Good Lord, we getting old.
Yeah, bro. We remember when both of them were born, and now.
Good Lord. Anyway, yeah, man. So let's go ahead and get ready to do that. I don't know if anybody's gonna come on, but if they do, I'll see you when you come on. I'll bring you in. All right. Let's go around the room. You already know how we do it. Chief, any final thoughts? Anything for the culture?
Yeah, man. I just want to shout out all the band directors that's up north, man. We were talking about a lot of stuff in the culture, things that's going on, man. Inner city band directors up north, we fighting a different fight. I know, I'm not trying to compare bad or, good, bad, worse, whatever, but we fighting a different fight up here, man. And just stay encouraged, man, because it's hard. This is a hard thing, but it's so needed. Because as Quan was saying earlier, man, there's so many important qualities that band and music in general in the arts bring towards your life. And it's not just to become a professional musician or to go to college and play whatever. It's things that can help you in your life. So band directors, man, we need you, man. We need you to continue to inspire the youth, to continue to be active in your communities, continue to motivate the kids to participate, even if it's hard. There's going to be good days and bad days, but we just got to stay at it, stay after the kids, stay after the administration, continue to advocate for yourself, continue to advocate for what you believe in. And I'm all, that's what I'm doing. Oh, Jazz House Kids. I got a pub, Jazz House Kids. Jazz House Kids is an organization, jazz education organization that is a nonprofit organization that I work for and that also works in the community. It is a very, very huge jazzhousekids.org. If you go check it out, it is a huge, huge, huge organization. And actually, they're going to be donating like 50 or 60 instruments to my school coming up real soon. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. So I can get my middle school band going. Shout out to Jazz House Kids.
All right. Quan, what you got? Anything for the culture? Any final thoughts?
Yeah. Hey, keep supporting your band directors, man. Like, look out for them because we stress too. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of teachers are experiencing burnout. So like support your directors. Number 2, this is something big. I'm going to be announcing it formally within the next few days, but I'm blessed to say that Evan E. Worthen Early College High School, the school that I'm the band director of, has been invited to Washington, D.C. to the National 4th of July Independence Day Parade in Washington, D.C. All praises, you did. So July 4th, so we got the official, invitation or whatever. And so we're going to be raising funds very, very soon for every student. This is a once in a lifetime trip for them. And it's just, favor, from God. And I thank him. So if you want to, are interested in donating, you can contact me at 504-233-8096. That's 504-233-8096, or you can contact me at Quan, Kuan.Mitchell at HoustonISD.org. That's Quan, Kuan.Mitchell, MITCHELL at HoustonISD.org for any amount that's big, small, corporate sponsors, businesses, anything like that, to get these kids the experience of a lifetime. And also shout out to Hampton and Howard because we're going to be visiting them as well.
I'm going to meet y'all down there, man.
Most def, bro.
All right. Rick, any final thoughts? Anything for the culture?
If you wouldn't have muted my mic, I could have talked. But anyway, I just want to say, God. On my nerves. Anyway, that's how people treat you. They call you a friend. Terrible. But I just want to say God is moving, man. Like in all of our lives, it's so easy to get caught up in all the small minutia and all the things that come off as negative. God is moving. Like I got some big announcements coming up myself over the next, week or so. And, it'll probably come out before I'm able to announce it on the show next week. But I got some real big things happening in my life right now. And God has just opening door after door for me. So I just say, y'all stay encouraged, stay patient, and let God move at God's time, because what's for you is for you. And the blessings, man, that are coming, especially to African American educators right now, man, like there, we are finally being seen, and the work that we do is finally being considered in this nationwide conversation. And the last thing, as I always say, man, support Black, man, support our people, support Black business, support Black, mental health, which is another thing that, is not talked about. We don't all have to be considered a punk because we are having a bad day or whatever it is, as it was in the past. We love you and we want to see you be successful, man. So just continue to stay encouraged and support our people.
Oh, my bad. Good. Yeah.
You muted yourself. That's what you get.
Yeah.
Hey, happy Founders Day, brother. Like real talk.
Yep.
We ain't said that. Happy
And
Founders Day.
I was gonna put that out
Oh
there.
hell.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Anyway,
Hell, Symphonia, come brother, hell, may fall.
I'm sorry, my bad. I did it wrong.
What's good, Ma?
All right.
What's good, Ma?
Where did that even come from? Like,
Okay, I'm sorry.
I agree. Oh God, it just.
Is that her voice saying that?
Yes.
I agree immediately. Okay. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I mean, great show as always. I want to start a new segment. Whether obviously I have to start wearing some type of caricature or something like that. But I want to start plugging Black businesses. If we say that, hey, put our money where our mouth is, every week I want to either something that I've bought or have been introduced to or something like that. I'd like to be able to bring that to the show. So let me know if that's something that y'all want to hear more about. I mean, number one, I'd like to plug my sister. Hey Isa, my sweet Hey Isa. She has a business, a jewelry company.
My daughter.
I know, the Masha Company. Masha, MASHA, themashacompany.com. She has some dope inventory. I definitely just bought, I don't know how many pairs of whatever from her, and I'm waiting on those to arrive. So I'll definitely showcase those. But if you want to definitely buy something for your ladies, buy something for yourselves or whatever the case may be, definitely check her out. But yes, we will definitely be doing this again. I think, again, as I always say, the conversation is getting more and more interesting. We're digging deeper and deeper into the conversations, the need to have what we don't know we need to have. There you go. You better have it right there on demand. But yeah, I mean, until next time, I agree.
Support Black business. Go on and get you a hat.
I agree. We don't sell hats, but okay.
A lot of people do. You're gonna get you a hair hat. Go ahead.
Take off the hat. Anyway,
Lego.
Mario.
That is rude. No, you have no respect. I cannot believe you just said
Hey, bro.
All right. Shoot. Hold up. Okay. Bring it back.
I'm sorry. My bad.
No, you good.
Oh Lord, I'm embarrassed.
For everybody out there, I hate them hats. All my students know when I see them.
Yeah.
Lego attachments.
We had a strong situation going.
That's exactly what it looked like.
Exactly what it looked like.
It does not.
Yeah.
My mom do. Mine had an Afro daddy with the
When you put the hat
Indian
on, put a hat.
right. Hats
My
on,
hair
hats
does
on,
not
hats.
look like a hat. Thank you.
Hey, real quick before I get to what I gotta say, Rick, remember when we used to be coming to PT, and the girls would walk in the room and we'd be like, "Take your hat off at the building."
Yeah, y'all tried that shit. Talking about no hats in the band room.
Right. Hats on hats. Hats on hats on hats. That's what Mario got on.
I'm
Take
sorry.
off the hat.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Hey, do you remember that Music Soul Child song that had "Take Off the Hat"? we was like, yes.
Oh God. All right. Anyway, let me keep going, man. I appreciate everybody who stopped through today. Please, I want to say this. Rick is absolutely right. Everything happens in its own time. There's a lot of things that are happening with this channel right now, man. A lot of business that have been taken care of behind the scenes. That's going to be happening. Things are taking off. There are a lot of things that are in the works right now. So I just want to say I appreciate everybody who continues to support, who continues to come in every single Wednesday, who checks out my thing on Sunday. And there are going to be a lot of other things that God, he was gulping at. Was that the end of it? Anyway, but everybody who checks my joint out on Sunday, and there are going to be other things that come on throughout the week. So I continuously say, go over to the YouTube page, click the subscribe button.
Mario,
Take off your hats.
They ain't got to take theirs off. I ain't taking mine off.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. I'm being out of pocket. I'm out of pocket.
But yeah, so just continue to support, man. Support the network, support all of our things that we have going on, support music education. I don't have anything else. I gotta go ahead and close this thing out before it gets too silly here, man. I appreciate everybody once again. This was a great show. I think this is one of the greatest band shows, music education shows that we have on earth right now. So I appreciate everybody checking us out. Until next time, we appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all later.
Quan, stop throwing up the SG roll sign.
All hell.
Facts. Wrong finger. Wrong finger.
Why is that the picture for this week's episode?
Why is the kid getting scolded on this picture?
That's what I said. Why is that? Maybe it's because the question of parents to blame.
Boy, if you go to school and act no one more time.
No, he telling them if you go to school and get on that horn one more time, if you're gonna be in that band.
He looked like he ready to give a serious ass whooping. Kid looks scared out of his mind.
Man, crack that B flat one more time. Pop it. Man, I swear, boy.
Dog.
Can I ask you a question? Why y'all be talking during the outro?
Man, don't nobody want to hear the music.
Don't nobody
commentary.
They want to see me in my hats.
That's the baritone part.
Right. Blow that home.
You know Hep wrote that. That's a Hep original.
This the after party, Camille. You got it right. Hell, we ain't trying to smear your part, dog. My bad. You ain't had a right baritone part on there, though.
Wait, can everybody still see us?
Yes, we're still live.
Oh.
Why she
A
smacked?
whole mouthful. Whole mouthful. Go ahead, man.
What y'all doing? What y'all talking about?
Yeah, she's cute, but she eat like this.
Oh, she eating a mouthful of Georgia peach candies.
Listen, I was waiting to eat that piece of ice. I wanted it so bad.
Hey, I saw you turn that cup up. I was like, yo.
Ooh, I was trying to, but then I heard, oh, that's a good one. I gotta wait. I got
a whole mouthful of marshmallows, mashed potatoes, and peach candies.
Mario, you still got these hats on. You about to take Maya, does that feel like when you put the hat on, when you got like 16 hats on?
I ain't worn 16 hats, so I don't know.
That ain't weighty, dog.
Right now.
It is. This is R16. Where is it? Right here. This is not heavy.
That's
That thing is weighty, Doc.
That's
it's weighty.
Pounds a hat, right?
I know your neck tied.
I would say like shoulders suppressed in a motherfucker.
Well, I got tension right here. I'm about to have them.
Yeah, locked up like motherfucker.
She got 2 hats, one on her hair and one on her head. She got 2 hats.
Oh man.
Lord help me. How many people logged in? Can you see? I can't see from this side.
I can go look at the analytics. Give me another second, man. I
could tell them to get up off me.
Mama, I don't rock with them hats, Mama.
But why though? Okay, so let me say this.
You already know why.
Yeah.
Let's have the same conversation.
When you want to change your haircut or whatever the case may be, you want everybody to get with the program. But everybody's so quick to say don't wear no hat, but we want everybody to be able to express themselves and do whatever they like. My hair wouldn't be down to my butt if I didn't put in a little hat on from time to time.
It's all good. We all have just become Legos. That's all good.
You already know my answer.
But I understand if I came in here side sweeping and it looked like I need to adjust that or something.
It looks good. No, it looks good on you. What I'm saying is, you are right. Everybody does have the option to do what they want to do with their hair and with their. I mean, I think actually, to be honest, though, in all realness, though, Black women in their hair and the different styles, I think it's really dope. Actually, to be able to have all the. I grew up in Detroit where that was like the weave. We used to have the weave like big conventions at Cobo Hall downtown. So that was like a big push for like creativeness. And so you remember seeing Baps with all the crazy stuff. That was like the hair shows and stuff before Warner Brothers stuff was happening down in Atlanta. So I grew up with the quick weaves, and I also grew up around people having the naturals like Anita Baker. So you saw both. You saw both.
Well, I'm just saying I can't be comfortable. Well, per the standards, I'm not comfortable in my own hair, and I'm not comfortable in nobody else's hair. So I might as well do what I want to do.
You should do that anyway, regardless.
Based off of the man's perspective or whom else. When I go into work, they don't want to see my natural hair per se. Then when I put on a hat or whatever,
I would prefer to see your natural hair.
I was about to say I don't know who you working around. That's
no. That's the thing. That's the thing. If I wear my afro or whatever the case may be, especially in the corporate world, some people look at that as unkept or whatever the case may be. So sometimes Black women only have or feel like they only have the option to wear a weave or a particular style. I mean, even braids are seen as unprofessional. So that's what I'm saying.
Has that been physically told to you, or is that just a perception that you have?
I was going to ask that.
Yes, that's something that I've experienced before.
Let me ask this question. This is actually band related. I saw the young lady for Norfolk State. She was dancing a couple. She has, I don't know if she's captain or co-captain or whatever, but she has dreads. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if those are her dreads, or if those extension dreads. Dreads. I'm not sure. But either way, because you don't ever see. I've never seen a dancer with dreads, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
I went to her Instagram page.
Oh,
yeah. Don't one of the dance lines have a girl that has a bald head too? Like I remember seeing one of the lines when one of the women had a bald head. I cannot remember which one it was.
Bald head.
Right. For me, Maya, I like Black beauty. I'm sorry. I don't like this Eurocentric perception of what a Black woman should look like. So for me, every woman has the right to choose what she wants, but as a man, I have the fact to say that while you like to change it up and do all that, that's awesome. Do your thing. But me personally, I like Black standards of beauty. I'm not a simp. I don't want my woman to look like Jennifer Garner or one of that stuff. I want her to look like the ashy Black woman, just like I look like an ashy Black man, and we're gonna be Black together and enjoy each other's company.
There's this duality of it. That, and this is my opinion. This is kind of controversial, but men do a lot of things because they think women want to see it. We do things because it's the approval of a woman. And I feel like women do the same sometimes, not every moment, but in sometimes that's happening. Most men that I know love women in a natural form. all the dudes that I know, maybe I didn't go to school with as many simps, but my homeboys, my group of friends are all like, I want the cellulite, I want the regular hair, I want a woman. I want to see a regular woman. Like I don't.
So let me
know.
ask you this. So now that quote unquote natural hair has become a thing, it's always been a thing, but it's become a quote unquote movement, or people are getting more comfortable with being,
Right.
Putting the relaxers down. Back in the day when relaxers were a thing and all girls used to wear our roller wraps and wraps and things like that, was that still considered natural to y'all?
No,
No.
I didn't know no better. Or did you?
I did. So
maybe I went through a phase, Maya, where I would only date women that had dreads. Like I went through the whole Erica Badu Common phase when I was in college.
Me too. I had a shell necklace.
Yeah.
I used to wrap my head.
And
I wore koofies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went through some phases.
I was a pretty boy dude from Houston. So
this man used to come in with Versace shirts and fake Versace glasses. I thought Julian wanted to be a Kappa the first time.
With a Superman piece and chain.
And church shoes on with jeans. I was like,
absolutely. And then I went through a Dave Hollister phase where I was wearing the sweaters and the hats. I mean, that was back in that time though. Dave Hollister was shit. So I mean, I thought it was cool.
Ashley, I'm telling you, look, Ashley said the real women would say, hell yeah, bro. Like I get so tired.
That's what I'm talking about. Like
I get so tired of women have to change who they are to make other people happy. Man, fuck that. You look good the way God made you.
But I mean, I feel you. And there becomes a certain time, or if you're lucky, a woman is able to, or Black women are able to stand in their own. But what do they say about Black women? The most underrepresented, the most unprotected group of people in the world, right? So automatically, Black people, sure, not only am I Black, I'm a Black woman, so I'm bottom tier. You know what I'm saying? So when you have everything against you, sometimes I can see how it is easy for people to try and align themselves just to feel a term of acceptance or endearment. So
I'll tell you this, Mike.
I will say this before.
Go ahead, June. Go ahead, June.
You're gonna say. I will say this. I think what ends up typically happening is that a lot of these things are not based off of what the people like myself or Mario or Rick or just men in general are really saying. A lot of it is based off of what you all are getting, what females are getting from the energy that you all express to one another. Because if you just sit down and talk to a lot of men, like Mario said, a lot of us are like, yo, come as you are. You know what I'm saying? But then y'all will get in your own groups and be like, oh, girl, them sharp nails you got, let me go get those. And the fellas be like, bro, we don't want you clawing us to death. We good. So all the waist trainers and all that
kind of goes with the notion that women are doing things just to be able to please men. Because the thing is, like, I'm dating someone right now. He doesn't like my nails. I don't give a damn. You gonna get these long ass nails because that's what I like. So, you gonna get this weed from time to time, and on a random Sunday or Tuesday, I'm gonna put that captain hat on, and we're gonna be married, and that's just.
I'll say 2 pieces. Coming out. I'll say 2 pieces. The first piece is that you got 4 brothers that support you, and I want on this show in a public forum that support you, not like you need some protection, but just to let you know that you being your regular self is more than good enough for us. Because a lot of times people say stuff like I hear women say like they feel like not protected and stuff. I'm like, who are those dudes? I'm calling their ass out. Who are those people? Let me find them. I don't see them. They're not around me. Dudes who act like that are not around me. So I let them be around me because I'm gonna call you out. First of all, that's the first part. The second part is what you just said, Maya, about like having long nails and doing what you want for yourself. And then I think sometimes it's kind of been like done over time where if a person feels like they're trying to please a person so much so that they're never going to accept or never be good enough, they start saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want and I'm going to just do the X, Y, and Z. And I feel like that became more the attitude from a lot of women that I've talked to. It's almost like the idea was to continue to like adjust to what they thought men were wanting or Black men, whatever. And then it became like, you know what? I had enough of that shit. I can't keep doing this. I'm going to do whatever makes me feel good, But I'm saying as a Black man, my woman, my friends, I take you as you are because you taking me as I am.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I ain't, I can't. I mean, I'm not saying this to be funny, but I can't Lego nothing on my body.
Well,
what God gave me is what I got. Like, I mean, if I'm you chubby, you can work that shit off, but that's about it.
you can get you a hat if you want one.
Tight.
Oh yeah, I know. One of the frat brothers got one of them joints.
Okay, and whatnot.
I'm good. You see my hair? Gone. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I got the band director hairline. It's getting long. My hair getting longer and longer and shit.
Exactly.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know. I have a different thought process. I mean, because like if your guy is saying he appreciates you in your natural, and you just like, well, I'm gonna do what I want to do. That's kind of like a fuck you move. I'm sorry. That's just kind of the way I look at it. I mean,
Seaver said he gonna have locks tomorrow.
I mean, not necessarily. I feel you. So I think that there is some compromise and things like that. But also, I don't know. I feel like if you decide to go change your haircut, or if you say I'm gonna grow my hair back, or if you decide whatever, is a man always going to check with his woman first on some things? Or if you say, oh, I use my savings or whatever to go get me a new, whatever the case may be. Like,
I'll tell my wife, hey, I'm growing my facial hair, or I go to her, I'm like, look, I'm gonna cut it. What's your thoughts? Even
if she disagrees, are you still gonna do it?
There have been times when she disagreed and I didn't do it.
But if she disagrees, are you still gonna do it?
A few times. I would.
So what makes it different? So how's that not a fuck you?
Because it's my hair.
That's the same thing she just said, bro.
So what makes it a fuck you if he says I like your natural hair? I mean, shit, I do too. I love my natural hair.
No, what I'm saying is, if you have your natural hair, don't be.
Mia said you ain't.
She lying. Right? She lying.
Anna just said no.
But what I'm saying is though, if he's saying he loves your natural hair, there are like 122 styles that you can do with your natural hair. I don't know how many it really is, but I'm over exaggerating. But instead of saying, baby, I like your natural hair, figure out a style for it, you just be like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this Lego daddy, chip these pieces in, and I'm gonna keep on moving.
I mean, no, that's not what I'm saying. I feel you. Okay. So, are there people that are gonna say that? Yes. But I also have to tell him, or again, this is just, I mean, there's different things to it, right? We live in Texas, right? It's humid as fuck. Like, I love my natural hair. Sometimes I want to straighten it, or sometimes I want
to get the fuzzies quick as hell. You get the fuzzies quick.
Yeah, and sometimes just the environment in itself, the humidity or the weather, I don't necessarily want to wear my puff every single day. My puff can withstand rain, sleet, snow, hail, hurricane, and hot water. But everything else may not necessarily be able to. And sometimes just like to be a creative, just like if you take a piece, right, and you want to brownie, you were showing whatever piece that you wrote, right? There's a particular chord that you decide to change out because it hit a little different and it spoke to you in a different way. Same thing with being a creative. I can't write music, but maybe my way to express myself is to do my hair this way, or to do my nails this way. It's the same thing, or to wear this, or just like putting a little captain hat on, or those little ears. Some people may look at it as what the fuck, but to me, it's just like, that's just how I feel. That's how I feel today. That's how
I look at it like when an artist comes out and has a style of music, and then people, whenever they do something outside of that box, we'd be like, nah. Like I remember when like Jill Scott came out, and everybody, when she did her first album, and then after that she was doing some different songs and stuff, people really they wanted her to go back to the, like, who is Jill Scott person. It was like, your hair is your art. And that's what I think, if I learn anything about Black women, it's like the hair is artistic expression. When you have a world where you feel like a lot of things are against you, this is the one way you can, it's almost like your way of like telling the world, or like showing yourself to the world a little bit. And different hairstyles do that. I think that's the way that goes. But I'm gonna just say, the only thing I will say is that it's a double standard. Because if you were a Black man and you were a Julian and you put on a hairpiece up top and you took that to your lady or something like that, now that wouldn't be as accepted. What are you doing? Take that off. You know who Big Jai is, the comedian?
Yeah.
He does a little skit where he comes in there with the,
and everybody's
right with the hairpiece. He's like flipping it around and shit. You're like, take that shit off. You ain't getting none if you don't take it off, right? So it's just like the double standard, because it's like, you know, if a man does anything to change his, like outside of cutting hair, that's gonna grow back, but changing anything about himself is like, oh, that's not manly. You know what I mean? A lot of women don't accept men for changing themselves, but they want to be understood about changing themselves. So we just got to make sure the double standard doesn't exist.
I mean,
I'm not changing shit about myself though, by the way. But
I mean, I feel you, but I think that that's unrealistic to say that, you know, we have to make sure that the double standard in some shape, form, or fashion it's gonna hit. Now, Ms. Parker, I think if I get what you're saying, Ms. Parker, mansplaining, just overall mansplaining, I feel you. Some things, and I respect y'all to death, but some things, like, I don't really care. Like, I mean, y'all gonna say what y'all want to say regardless, but until you put yourself, just like some things from a man's perspective, I can necessarily talk on. We have to agree to disagree, or I can just say I'm ignorant in that regard because I haven't experienced. Just like when I said what I've experienced at work, y'all was like, is that something you've actually experienced? Hell yeah. I had motherfuckers try to come up on me and fill up on my hair, or tell me that the way that I look, or not get jobs or promotions or whatever, just simply based off the texture of my hair. So when it comes to certain things, or you can't place yourself in a woman's shoes, or understand, or kind of make it seem like what you think is best, it should be what she should take on, because you don't know the odds and ends. You don't know what we've gone through. You don't know the types of stares. You don't know the backwards, the forwards, the negatives, and the ins and outs of it, because a lot of times it is more than just expression. There are reasons behind it. And we could have that conversation day in and day out. So in terms of mansplaining, I don't think that that's fair in these cases. In terms of certain things of Black women or women in general, I think we got to keep the sex or the gender thing differently.
I agree with you, Maya, but I think anytime we have some people have an uncomfortable conversation, if a man has an opinion, it's mansplaining. Absolutely. It's not mansplaining if you just have an opinion. If you're coming from a position of power where you're trying to make a woman do something, that's absolutely
right. Right.
Get your ass out the way. Nobody cares. But if you're simply saying, I think that's a big problem in the Black community. We have been taught to fight each other. Mm-hmm. It's not a fight. It's saying that I like my women to look this way. I'm allowed to have an opinion, just like women say I like my man tall, dark, and handsome.
Sure.
My grandmama and them said that. So it's okay for a woman to say tall, dark, and handsome, but when a man comes out and says, I want to see my woman look like a Black woman, that's not mansplaining. That's simply saying I like a standard of beauty that is Black and white man. Right. That's why I think that having these type of conversations is important. Yeah.
Right. And
I'm not trying to control you. I'm not trying to.
No, never that. I don't agree. Right. I think it's just, and with that, you have to know, just with everything, you have to find something or someone or whatever that aligns with things that compromises or what you can and cannot deal with, and that goes both ways in terms of relationships and making two one.
Right. Yeah. You like what you like, and whatever man you're dealing with is allowed to like. And as long as y'all are able to compromise and come together, man, shoot.
It just whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. And that's how I look at everything, man. If anything, I've learned living in the Northeast, man, everything is so like just very, very liberal up here. Like in terms of just the mindset about stuff. It's just everything is kind of open and available. You can't have an opinion on some. One of the things only thing that I would disagree with when it comes to any of these things is that we can have conversations and disagree, and it can be okay, and we're still friends. You know what I mean? Like our disagreements doesn't have to make us enemies. It just means that we're coming from different. Not us. Obviously, not us. Right. I'm talking about like in general. When you talk to people, sometimes it's like disagreements mean like absolute conflict, and you no longer are able to even like do anything because you disagree on a point, and it becomes a disagreement. Sometimes can become an attack on your character. Because I don't agree with you, now all of a sudden I'm getting my character is getting attacked because I don't agree with something. I'm like, man, like. Did it have to go there? It just maybe we just didn't agree on that point. That doesn't mean I don't agree on, we don't agree on everything.
But I think a lot of Black women are coming from the standpoint of their voices have been silenced for so long. They haven't been allowed to have an opinion, everything. And I think that's women in general, man. Women are tired of being put to the background. So,
and I'm not talking about women necessarily. I'm just talking about people. Like my point is people. Anybody, like we just are not in a space in American culture sometimes where you can disagree with each other without having an attack or calling somebody or making somebody labeling somebody something because they don't agree with a perspective. And it's like, Now, if you are coming from a clear perspective of hate, then that is different. A conversation that's different. If you are in a position of power and making decisions over someone's ability to do something, then that is different. But having a general conversation and having a difference of opinion and being willing and open to hear other things, I think that's healthy. That's the only way you get to the bottom of stuff, by talking, finding out what the differences are and finding a median. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. All good points. I do have to log off. I am on to duty. I do.
Oh, you going to that club? You going to that club?
It's not a club. It's just a hookah lounge. So my sister owns a hookah lounge. Now it can get clubby on Fridays and Saturdays. She does different DJs, things of that nature. But tonight, no, I told her that I'm not going up there because I probably need to go up there this weekend because she's going to be out of town. But yeah, I'm on auntie duty. I need to make sure that they supposed to be in the bed, but one of them not thinking so.
Probably not at all.
Yeah, so one of them, yeah, she probably sleep, but the other one I need to go make sure she's all right. So I'll talk to y'all later. This was fun. I think we should do this more often. This kind of happy hours or whatever.
Yeah,
I got my drink in the freezer.
Extended stay.
Yeah, I need to have a drink. I should have put something
It's
in
called
this game.
Mirage Hookah Lounge. Mirage Hookah Lounge. It's in Frisco, Texas. I believe the address is 10935 Rollater, Rollater. It's in Frisco, yeah.
Good Lord.
I'm in Carrollton.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah. So it's in Frisco. Yeah, y'all. It's BYOB. It's BYOF if you want to. Sometimes my sister is also a chef, like a true chef, went to culinary school. Sometimes she does food at the lounge, maybe Thursday through Saturdays. But yeah, it's a good time.
I know me and the wife would come and check it out, but we got KIDS, so I don't know. That may be tight.
Yeah, you can't bring the baby.
Yeah.
No children.
Man,
Don't have to find a BABYSITTER.
ain't no lounge, man. Ain't no lounge.
Are you Maya, are you busy tomorrow?
I just be working, but I mean, we can make time.
All right, I'm gonna hit you up tomorrow.
Okay.
They can watch themselves. Kid, been to burn your house to the absolute
Jeremy be running the house.
Later.
Have a good night.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
You know.
Peace. I don't want to talk to y'all.
Hey, turn the live off.
All right, I guess we going off there because Mario got some things to say. He don't want to say it on the line.
I do.
Good night, mama.
So,
night.
Anybody who was checking with us for after hours, we appreciate you for sticking with us on the after. We might do this. We might make this a regular thing. Just hit the after hours, Daddy, for anybody who can stay on and maybe bring some more people in during that time. You know,
right. Bring your drink.
Yeah, bring the yak. I gotta
spill this yak on this $500 suit. I got
it. Tight.
Alpaca.
Paw print.
But no, I gotta get my drink out of the joint. But anyway, man, I appreciate everybody who stuck with us for this app. Well, all right, fine. We'll call it the after party. For everybody who stuck with us for the after party, we're gonna go ahead and sign out. Appreciate y'all.